Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Spill the Tea, Lou. It is our favourite show of the week. It is live with Lou and Ash. We are going to be talking about the Champions League, even though my team's not in it. We're going to be talking about the draw that I looked at for the first time 3 minutes ago. We are going to be talking about our Premier League predictions. We're going to be talking about whatever the hell Ash wants to talk about, because I have absolutely nothing planned. I don't even have any surprises planned. I have zero plans at all for this stream, which normally is when we're here all evening, because normally we end up talking about anything and everything. So first of all, welcome to Ash. Welcome to Friday. Thank you for being here. I actually quite like your jumper. I'm looking at you as I'm introducing you, and I quite like the colour of that jumper. It's a good one. It's nice. I like it.
It was the retro drop. The
But
retro
you see,
drop.
right? See when you just kind of went up a little bit? So just to there, yeah? See, just before the badge, it's actually lovely. It's really nice. And then, yeah.
It was the retro drop that they did from like the 96 season, 95, 96 season.
Well, and I tell you what, it's nicer than that new jersey they're planning.
I mean, anything is. Now, yeah, I feel like this era was kind of a lot of the people's like favorite era for like the clothes, and obviously, I mean, it was the best era for 70 years of like Newcastle history, so it has a lot of meaning. And then obviously they did the retro drop and filmed everything in an actual VHS tape and everything, so it was all retro. It was the media really outdid it. It was
I like that.
If you ever see like now the like when it comes to like Newcastle fans, you'll always see them in the retro kits that they released this year. It's great.
I think people in general, though, love a bit of the 90s. Humans love the 90s. But before we go any further, Ash, we have some things to take care of. First of all, we have to say hello to the people. So, Guess is here, Wills is here, Flossie's here. I saw other people here. They're all having a wee chat. Who else did I see? I know I saw more people. Luke is here. Who else? Gary's here. Everybody's here. All the cool kids are here. They're all here on time to make their prediction for Villa versus Wolves, because we got caught out last week. Ray is here. I knew Ray would be here. Shem is here. Lovely Shem is here. Good evening to you. Thank you for being here. Mark is here. Nice to see you. I hope you've smashed that like button. Dave Boy is alive and well and with us, people, and he has made a live stream. Where are you watching us from today, Dave? I do see some pints in your picture, so I can hazard a guess on a Friday evening. But before we go any further, I have put a poll in the chat because we got caught out last week with a Friday game. They're doing a game at 8 o'clock on a Friday, like horrid little Henrys, because they can't plan things. Terrible planning again. So they have a match this evening. I've whacked it in the chat. Bit of a poll. Who's going to win? Wolves, draw, Villa. Lads, what are we doing here? 75% of you have clicked on Villa. Was that in error? Was it an accident? We are supporting Wolves. Anyway, who do you think is going to win, Ash?
I know you want Wolves to win, but I will say I think Villa's going to win. However, yes, I will say Villa is a bit on a downtick form recently. So I think Wolves this is probably their best time to play Villa. So I actually think this is going to be a draw.
Disgraceful.
I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Like
Gary's in here saying Villa all day long. I don't think so. And you know what? Right, on a genuine level, because I know every single week I say I think Wolves are going to win. But genuinely, in fairness, on our last show, was it 2 shows ago, I told you that I thought Villa was going to drop out of the top 5. So it's not actually just me backing Wolves for a change. I genuinely believe Villa are going to have problems. And so far I've been correct, because since I said that, they've had a nightmare. So it had to be 2 weeks ago, because they've definitely had more than one match. So that's where I'm at. It's not just backing Wolves. I do genuinely believe Villa are dropping off a cliff.
So I was at Wolves' last game with my mates, because the Newcastle game was at 8 o'clock and the Villa game was an early kickoff. So I had enough time to be able to go down there and then come back and watch the Newcastle game. I'm going to be honest. If Watkins is starting, I am very worried because Watkins is looking dreadful. The fans have actually turned against him. And he's come out in like interviews saying about the noise and everything, that the fans aren't making enough noise. And I guess it's down to kind of how he's been playing, to be honest. And if you actually watch the last game, he missed some sitters. Like,
I don't like that.
He was constantly offside. He was missing sitters. Dominic Calvert-Lewin looked actually amazing, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. He is looking like an absolute machine for Leeds. So for this game, this is probably the best time Wolves are going to play. However, that's on the preface if Watkins is starting. If Tammy Abraham starts, I think Villa has a much better chance of winning the game. And also, do you know who was actually Villa's best player?
Go on.
You're gonna like this. He came on towards the about middle of the way for the game, and it was Jadon Sancho. He was their best player. Which I mean, it says a lot when Jadon Sancho is the best player on the pitch. God, I could generally see this being a draw though, which is weird to say, but I think it depends. I think Villa's going to win if Tammy Abraham starts, but if Watkins starts, I actually think it's going to be a draw.
I can't get over that with Watkins. You are spilling the tea, Ash. Do you know what I love, right? I love this. So normally, every week we come in, I'm a bit crazy. You're very calm and rational. You say factual things, and then I spill the tea. But this week, Ash is spilling the tea on the Ollie Watkins drama live from the ground, practically. From the ground. Love that. I didn't know that. At all.
It's very interesting going to like a different ground as a neutral, because obviously I'm in like the season ticket end, because the reason why I have a ticket is because my friend's friend who isn't going has a season ticket, so I get his seat. So I talk to all the fans that go there all the time, and obviously they know I'm a Newcastle fan, so it definitely creates some interesting
conversations.
Topic.
But you know what? You get like the inside scoop of things that you don't see and hear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things that just... Do you get what I mean? So I like that. Wills, obviously as an Arsenal fan, is saying Emery losing the dressing room. Who could have predicted that? To be fair, see the minute he pushed... What was the guy he pushed? Remember I showed you? Yeah, see from the minute he pushed Tielemans.
He's been out injured as well.
Yeah. So he pushed him. He came back for the next match. And then after that, he's been injured. My thing is, I think, see from that, I reckon he lost the dressing room there. Even if he didn't lose everybody, he lost at least some of them.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, even if he didn't necessarily lose a dressing room, like whether he did or didn't, they've got a massive problem with the midfield at the moment. It's lacking creativity. Ross Barkley and Jadon Sancho created quite a lot actually when they came on, which is crazy to think about, especially Ross Barkley. That man's been around for God knows how long. It's, I don't know, it's Villa needs to have a bit of a turnaround, but it's going to be a bit of a worry for the end of their season with Tielemans being out for a while and John McGinn being out for even longer.
That's another thing, because it's not just what they do on the pitch, it's the personality as well. Do you know what I mean? And I know for a 100% absolute fact, Jadon Sancho will not play consistently well. So, okay, he's had one good game. That means he's probably not going to have one until the end of the season, because he might have one every 2 months. So that's his good game up for the rest of the season. He's out now. Don't play him anymore. He's used it up. Also, Dave Boy says he nearly spilt his beer when you said Sancho was playing well.
I had a feeling that might have
set the cat amongst the pigeons.
Might have sent a few Man United fans. Oh.
Huge says hi, Lou and Ash, which means Huge is in the house. Ray, very responsible this evening. I'm wearing my new bib. I'm not afraid of spilling my tea today. Spill all the tea. Get all the gossip in the house. Gary, I am disgusted. I've been so kind to you. Gary says Villa will finish above Man United at the end of the season. I do not believe this. I think, genuinely, I said at the start of the season, I would put Man United in 5th. And I actually, before the season kicked off, I put a bet on Man United to finish in the top 4. Okay? And I got odds of 5-1. I now genuinely believe there's a real possibility we can finish 3rd. I don't think, yes, we definitely will. but I think it's a very genuine possibility.
I'm actually surprised that the odds were
that low.
That low for Man United.
I thought I was going to get better after finishing 15th, but
to tell you that you say, was it top 5? Is that including 5th or is it...
No, top 4?
That's crazy odds. That's really crazy odds. Like, because
5-1.
Yeah, because you'd think top 3 was kind of guaranteed from last season, being Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. Obviously, Liverpool's fallen a little bit down. Granted, they're still in touching distance. But yeah, that's crazy odds. I would have easily put seven teams guaranteed above Man United, especially when you guys were under Amorim at this point.
Yeah. Right. No, I 100% I agree. I thought the odds were going to be much higher than they were, but I just felt that you only feel it in your bones. So I said, I don't care. I'm doing it anyway. But Will says on Emery, I'm probably being biased. Arsenal fans are never biased, Will. Don't be silly. But Will says, I'm probably being biased, but I think it started when he lied about waiting for Arteta to shake his hand. Now, I don't think that's when his downfall started in terms of results and with the players, because I do think there's now discord between him and some of the players. What I will say, Will, is actually, to be fair to your point, I think that's when he started to attract attention from other rivals. Because I know from my personal perspective, up until that point, I actually thought he was a pretty good manager. I thought he was doing a great job with Villa. I didn't really see what Arsenal fans saw. Then I saw that video, and that probably was the earliest point where something really obvious happened, where he said he waited for him and he very clearly didn't. Actually, if you watch the video, he looks to make sure Arteta is not there and then runs down the tunnel, so he knows, because he knows obviously if he passes him on the way to the tunnel, he'll have to shake his hand. So he actually checks the coast is clear before he runs away and doesn't shake his hand. So I don't think that was the start of his troubles on the field. I do think it was the start of him attracting more attention from rival fans, if that makes sense. Where do you lie with that
at? I'm just very confused, to be honest, about Emery. I personally, I think it started in the summer. Villa didn't sign anyone. And I think there was probably quite a lot of frustration from him there. And it's just been building up and carrying on going since then. So I just think it's one of those things. Like you can understand this, especially as a manager who's trying to get into the Champions League slots, and you need to be able to build from previous seasons.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the reason why he couldn't was because of PSR. But it obviously it burns him out and everything. He's using a lot of resources and time, and then you feel like you've just spent a year or two building the project to get to a point where you're like, we can't give you any more right now because of money, and it'll obviously affect him, and then it just boils over. And especially when English isn't his first language and stuff, like people don't realize, like sometimes communication with that stuff like ends up just annoying people. Granted, the thing with Tielemans was still mad.
And that's it. Everything you've just said makes sense, but to shove his own player is crazy. Like that is off the wall.
Yeah, I don't know.
I also think, I know it got a little bit of attention, but not a whole lot, to be honest with you, from like big media channels. I didn't, like, no harm, right? Imagine Ruben Amorim had pushed Bruno after subbing him off. We would still be talking about it. The man's action would still be talking about it.
Listen, if that happened, Bruno would have like either cried or started a fight with him. I can't tell which one would have happened.
It would have been handbags at dawn.
Yeah, that's why we'd still be talking about it, because Bruno's reaction would have been absolutely nuts. Do you know what? I actually would have paid for that to happen.
I tell you what, he wouldn't push Casemiro because he'd headbutt you. But my point is, if that was an Amorim, if that was a Pep, if that was an Arteta, if that was probably an Eddie Howe, to be fair, we would still be talking about it. But somehow Emery, it just like by the next week, it was just gone. I was like, this is a massive deal. Why is nobody talking about it?
It's because I just think some managers, like, they get treated differently based on how they are. Like, you got to think, Emery, his entire career has been memed for good evening. Like, and that's what it all boils down to. Like, this guy, everyone just memes him because of it, like, because of how he talks and everything. So yeah, I just don't think people take it that seriously.
I think that's a bit mean, to be fair, because as you say, it's incredibly difficult to speak a foreign language.
Yeah, it is.
Most people, and I'm not being funny here, most people in England that I know don't speak a second language. So to then make fun of a man who is like working through a foreign language and probably speaks more than two, because most people who are bilingual are multilingual, I do think it's a bit like, I think it's a bit snidey.
Listen, England, we're the most, what's it called? Like idiotic, like we go places and expect them to speak our language. It's really stupid. Like we would go on holiday to Spain and expect them to be able to speak English. They come to us, we speak them to speak English. It's you're
allowed to say that. I have to toe the line a little bit.
Yeah, I can say
you can say it.
I can say that with being English.
Do you know what I will say, right? And this is way off topic, but we're here now, so let's go with it. And we are going to go back to football for the people who want to talk about that just a second. But do you know what I genuinely find? And maybe, I don't know, maybe people who are Scottish or Welsh or stuff get this as well. Oftentimes, because we're English speakers, when we go to like Spain or Portugal or these kind of places, people will ask us, are you English? And we'll say, no, we're Irish. Their entire demeanor completely changes the minute you say, I'm not English, I'm Irish. I'm not joking. They become so much friendlier. And that's complete. And I've experienced that on multiple occasions. And I just genuinely, for years, I don't understand it. Do you know, like, I suppose I've never, but it's a thing that genuinely happens.
Yeah, I think it's just English people have
a reputation.
They get a very bad rep.
You do, 100%.
Which I think a lot of it comes down to the 90s and the noughties with football. There was a lot of football hooliganism, we shall say, in different countries. So that's kind of what it boils down to. Granted, it's kind of going a bit the other way. I think the English are becoming a bit more friendlier.
Well, I mean, it'd be hard to get any worse than you there, to be fair.
Yeah. I don't know. It just is what it is.
I can't tell if you're joking or if this is something you've genuinely deployed. I need you to tell me if this is factually correct so you can tell people that I'm not making it up. So you come back and let me know if this is true, okay? But let's go back to the football, because I did see Gary said he is going to be watching the game on mute and listening to us, Ash. So he's visualizing the game, but he's listening to us. So Gary, we love it. We love it. Back in the good books, Gary. But actually, that does remind me, because the match kicks off in 7 minutes, and genuinely, if I don't do it right now, I'm going to forget. So I reckon Wolves win. You reckon draw. The poll is scandalous. The poll says Wolves 12%, draw 12%, Villa 75%. So I think that means we have to put in our predictor a Villa win. So we're going to put, I think, 2-1, because Villa to win, but I think Wolves will score. And you think draw, so we'll keep the score close. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at, people. I am bowing down. Excuse me. We are bowing down to democracy, but I'm not pleased about it. I don't know if anybody else, maybe this is the wrong crowd, but I've been watching Bridgerton today.
Are you sharing this or not?
What do you mean?
I don't know if you go back and show something on your screen. I was going to say you're not sharing.
No.
Okay,
no. But I was just saying about Queen Charlotte. So if anyone who has been watching Bridgerton, feel like Queen Charlotte when she allows.
How old is she?
I don't know. No idea. Ash.
Princess or whatever.
Who asks a woman her age? It's very rude.
I was thinking about Princess Charlotte. Flipping heck, she's 11. God.
Queen Charlotte, you lunatic.
Yeah, I know,
Bridgerton.
It made me think of actual. We have actually, listen, we were talking about England and we have a princess called Princess Charlotte.
I'm aware. I've seen her. She puts manners on her brothers when they don't do what they're told, like a good big sister. I see her.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know if the royal family is in the best position at the moment.
Let's not talk about that. Will says, Ash looked worried then. What's on your screen? And Ray says, no, it's factually correct. He does tell people that he's Irish and they're nicer to him.
The reason why I guess I looked worried was just because some of this came up a few times, like over the past day. And
oh yeah, no,
not that. It's Newcastle's played the most games in the whole of Europe in this season.
How?
Because you've got to remember, in Europe, we've played like an extra 2 games because of the knockout stages. So we've played more. We've played League Cups, FA Cups. We've got like the furthest we can possibly go in obviously all the cup competitions so far. So obviously we've played all the Premier League games. We played all the EFL Cup games. We played all the FA Cup games, the Champions League games, and then we played the extra 2 for the knockout stages. So whereas someone like, say, Arsenal, who's got the same distance as we have, they obviously skip the extra 2 games in the Champions League. So so Newcastle right now has actually played the most games in the whole of Europe. They played a total of 44 in this season.
That's a lot. Like, considering that's probably more than we're going to play in the entire season, I would say. To be honest,
I actually think that's actually true.
I think we only play 40 matches, but there you go. Will says Arsenal on 42 games so far, 2 more than United will play all season. So 2 less than what Newcastle have played so far, because as you said, they didn't have to play those 2 that you guys had to do. But that does bring us very nicely on to the games in the season. So everybody's talking about this today. I've not been as excited as the rest of the country because, we're not in it. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the Champions League, even though I'm not there, even though I'm not going to be, cheering on my team. You guys are going to be there, so I have to talk about it. But Ash, you're taking the lead on this one because I don't have a dog in the fight, a horse in the race, a team in the competition. I'm out. I wasn't in to be out. So, what do you make of the draw? What do you make of the sides of the draw? What do you make of the fact that all of the previous winners, Barcelona, are on one side and the others are on the other side? Do you think that this lends credence to the fact that people think these draws are fixed? And how do you feel about Newcastle's draw?
First of all, we'll go into the.
That was a lot of questions.
We'll go into the. I'll go into the fixed thing because I've seen that a couple of times recently.
Yes.
What a load of bullshit that is. At the end of the day, it goes off what position you finish in the Champions League table. If you wanted to be on the other side of the bracket, just draw one of those games instead of winning it. At the end of the day, it's all down to the position of where someone finishes. Complete bollocks, that is. Out of everything that has been match fixing that you could have said, the referee's decisions that went against us, that you could have said was match fixing. This literally could not have been the least. This is the biggest pile of bollocks I've ever heard. Of course, it isn't match fixing at all. It's just the way the draw went. Newcastle, I'll go back onto the side of the draw that we were at. We got the best possible draw that we could have got, that we could have wanted. I wanted Barcelona. I said, I think we have a better chance of beating Barcelona than Chelsea. With the high line. Also, on a note on this, Frankie de Jong for Barcelona has got a injury. It came out yesterday, and he's going to be missing these games as well for us.
Guess is coming back at you. Sorry.
I knew Madrid would get City. I mean, do you know what?
To be fair, Jenny supports Madrid. So
the thing is, right? So I said before, way before all this, when I saw the way that all the teams finished, I said this round of 16 was going to have the best matches I potentially have seen in years. The way that it was, no matter which side the draw people were on, it was going to be unbelievable. Granted, it would have been obviously Inter Milan versus flipping Lisbon instead of the other way around.
Sporting.
Sporting, yeah, instead of obviously Bodo Glint, which that was an upset. But yeah, so Newcastle, we've got a very, very favourable draw.
Not many people say that when they're drawn against Barcelona, to be fair.
I know, but the thing is, it's not the same Barcelona as old. Like, so when we played them, obviously we were still massively down on injuries and the way we were. But we didn't exactly lose by a landslide or anything. They only won because Marcus Rashford scored 2 absolute screamer of goals, and one of them flipping got our defender concussed, which made him score the second goal because bro was up and living in Wonderland by that second goal. Fabian Shaw had no idea what was going on.
We shouldn't laugh about concussion.
Bear in mind, right? In the match the other day, the last game we played, guess what happened, Lou? You know, I said we've got such old defenders. Kieran Trippier had his 36th birthday. That he's closer to 40. Like,
I tell you what, he's doing a Ronaldo, so he is.
I know, but can he not? Like, bro's got 0 legs. So for me, I think we have a much better chance against Barcelona because of the high line they play. We have incredible pace, especially now we've been doing this team where we've had sort of Altamada as a 10 and Gordon as a 9, and he's looked a lot better. And we know he's been performing amazing in Europe anyway.
He's having the time of his life in Europe, so he is.
Yeah. Well, I think the way that the teams are setting up and playing fits his style perfectly because of how pacey he is and everything. So I think he's going to be able to thrive in this game. I think we'll do like sort of a false 9 again. I think Alanga is actually going to look good in this game. I think he should be on. So I think we have the best chance I think we could have possibly had to get through against Barcelona than Chelsea, just because.
And were those your 2 options, Ash? Because I'm not being funny, I haven't been following how the logistics of it works because we're not in it. So I've been watching the matches, but I haven't actually been paying attention to the background, if you get me.
Yeah, so we would have got either Barcelona or Chelsea, and then the other team, which is PSG, gets the other one. Which, I mean, it was the other way around because they did the left side first. So PSG got Chelsea, and we got Barcelona. And then below us is Spurs and Atletico, or it would have been Liverpool and Spurs was the team that would have been the other way around. So we got lucky. So Liverpool went on the other side of the draw to Galatasaray, which... Yeah. Thank God, because that was probably a team I wasn't thinking we were going to win against.
Yeah.
So like if we beat Barcelona and then say if we get to Spurs, we seem to do quite well against Spurs very often. And then obviously the bottom side of the draw in the bottom right, you've got Arsenal, Leverkusen, which you'd think Arsenal's probably going to go through on that. Bodo Glimt, obviously Sporting, you would think Sporting's probably going to go through on that, and then Arsenal. And then if we manage to get through, that's the semis at that point. So if we manage to get...
Just before we go to the semis, are you convinced that Spurs will beat Atletico? Because they might need to focus on not being relegated. They might not be able to focus on...
I'm up in minds. I think it's a 50-50 game, this draw this. I'm most definitely not set on Spurs winning or losing, but they've been very good in Europe this season, I will say. So I would say I would lean more towards Spurs winning the tie, but it's definitely not out of the realms of possibility that Atletico does. But like I said, I'm more than happy with either of those teams that we could go against.
And so you reckon, regardless of who wins that between Atletico and Spurs, you reckon Newcastle can take them if you get through Barcelona?
Yeah, I would say it would be either us or Barcelona. It depends who obviously wins that game.
Yeah,
I think we have got a better chance of beating Atletico and Spurs, both of our teams.
Yeah.
But like I said, I do think. Yeah, exactly. They played better in Europe, but like they've looked very, very good in Europe. Granted, that was under Thomas Frank, so who knows? But like I said, there could be a world here that we go into this, that we somehow manage to get to the semis, which is still going to be a big task, and we'll be against Arsenal. And then if we manage to beat Arsenal in the semis, we're in the finals. Which at that point, like, you're never going to see me in your channel again. No, if you're never going to see me in your channel again, because I'm going to be pissing the pub for the rest of the year.
I tell you what, you might find Dave. You and Dave.
I listen. If that happens, I don't know who I'm going to be finding. I'm going to be down for some. I don't know where I'm going to be.
Will says, so many great games from the start. Repeat of the Club World Cup final, City, Madrid, Newcastle, Barca, Liverpool, Galatasaray, with Liverpool losing against them already this season, and Bodo Sporting. So fair enough. Let's say you get through Barcelona. I think that I understand what you're saying, but I do think that will be still a very difficult.
Oh, yeah. It's not a guarantee. Definitely
I do agree with you that whoever wins from you guys is more likely then to go through to the semi, because you are going to take out either Spurs or Atletico. Although, let's face it, there has already been upsets. But I mean, if you're going on the balance of probability. And guys in the chat, do get involved in this part. Out of these teams, who do you guys think are going to get through from the current fixtures that we know about? And then if we follow it all the way through, like, who do you think is going to get through at each stage? Get that into the chat for us while we're talking about it. And then we can kind of go through what you guys are saying as well. But Bodo and Sporting, I agree with you. You'd imagine it's going to be Sporting going through. However, people would have thought it was Inter going through. So... you know what I mean?
Well, of course, this is the thing is, so obviously you go off who you think is most likely,
but
there is very much a chance you can get upsets, and it's why people love the Champions League. It's why there's I mean, obviously we might not be Barcelona. For all we know, Leverkusen might be Arsenal. Like, you never know any of this stuff. There could be upsets absolutely everywhere. Galatasaray might be Liverpool again.
I think Galatasaray will beat Liverpool.
I don't think that's out of the realms of possibility. I mean, granted, they played them at a good time because Liverpool was in a bit of a shitter at that point. But Galatasaray's got a very, very sort of aggressive team. Victor Osimhen's an unbelievable player.
Yeah.
I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. But
no, I actually think it's more probable. So if I was going if between you guys, it's really hard, Newcastle or Barcelona. I literally can't call that. On a genuine level, I can't call that. I would probably lean towards Atletico over Spurs, not because of anything other than the fact that I think Tudor is a crisis manager. I think he will focus on getting them away from relegation. I think he'll do well in Europe if he can, but his job is to get them out of the crisis zone, which is relegation. So I think that may mean a depleted team. Do you know what I mean?
That's my only slight concern, is just because they don't have Thomas Frank anymore, and he obviously prioritized so much into the Champions League. None of us can say we don't know how Tudor's going to how he's going to take the team, how he's going to prioritize. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think there'll be a lot of emphasis on the fans to say they want Spurs to really try with that. I think it's of course you want to, especially in the Champions League. But it's going to be interesting.
Harold and Bodo is pretty local to Harold, so it's not that he's biased, but he would like to know, who do we think Bodo will face in the semi-finals? Atletico Madrid or Barcelona? So Harold gives me a good giggle there. To be fair though, I take his point. I do also see our Nathan is in the house, so welcome in, Nathan. Luke, we are going to get to City Madrid in just a momento, and we are going to talk about that. Nathan and Guess are both Madristas. So Nathan is saying he wants everyone to think Madrid will lose to City. He loves it when the world doubts Real Madrid. But Nathan and Guess are both for Madrid. So they, I'm sure they'll have a good chat in there. But back to Harold's point, to be fair. I think Sporting naturally is the more likely. But again, as we said, Inter was the more likely. So Bodo have already surprised people. Therefore, you just don't know.
That's the best draw they could have got.
Yeah, 100%.
It's the 100% the best draw they could have got. Like, if I was a Bernard Glint fan, I would be over the moon. Especially Sporting. Like, even Sporting would be very happy because obviously, if they didn't have got that, the other team would have got Real Madrid and the other team would have got Man City, which you would think is probably one-sided for both of them.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting game. That it's going to be a good watch.
Yeah,
and I think
agree.
every single person, their second team is going to be Bodo Glint, aren't they? Because
Yeah,
everyone wants
100%.
to see them go. Everyone wants to see them go far. It's
absolutely. But as you say, it's what the cup competitions are for. It's what we love. Yeah. But if we go to the other side, kind of properly for a little minute, so PSG, Chelsea. I reckon Chelsea can win that,
I do too as well. That's why I wanted Barcelona. I think Chelsea they're looking a lot better at the moment, and I think they're very good in European competitions. So I personally also think Chelsea is going to beat PSG. PSG has not looked that good. I'm going to be honest with you.
No, and that's what I was going to say. Chelsea are looking better under Rossonero than they were under Maresca, but also PSG are not looking like PSG. So it's
they only just went through. They nearly lost to Monaco. So it's I know there's been some crazy upsets. Obviously, the Inter Milan losing to Bodo Glimt was crazy, but yeah, I think there's more chance Chelsea goes through on that draw, 100%.
I think so too. And I actually genuinely believe Galatasaray will beat Liverpool. Definitely. That's where I'm at with it.
I think it's definitely not out of the realms of possibility. I think it's you could argue me either way. I'm going to say I think Liverpool's going to go through just because of their heritage and the way they are. And they're on a bit of an uptick of form. If they carry it on over to when they actually play Galatasaray in like just over a week, I think they could go into that with quite a lot of confidence. But I wouldn't roll Galatasaray out. Like I said, I think there's a real world they can win. And
I just think the way Liverpool have been this season as a whole, they're fractured, they're uncertain, they definitely don't have a run of form. The manager can't possibly be confident. Whatever he's putting across, he can't be confident. When you take the mentality they must have at the moment, even if they're hiding it well, and then you put that into the boiling pot that is Galatasaray, I think the atmosphere will do them. I think it's the atmosphere that's going to kill off whatever semblance of confidence they have. So I actually think, and I think this is probably the worst team that Liverpool could have gotten, just because of the mentality that Liverpool have at the minute and what we know Galatasaray delivers. So for me, I think Galatasaray are going to win the mental game and therefore the game on the pitch. For me.
Yeah, possibly. I say it's going to be a great watch. I think that game's going to be a good one to watch for a neutral. But they just put a lot of games on all at the same time, really. So it kind of sucks that way.
It's a disaster. Guys, I am seeing your comments coming in. So what I'm going to do is we'll finish these kind of 4, and then I'm going to get stuck into all the comments you guys have. So then we can sort of talk about them and we're not starting for you guys. But let's assume, okay, we both reckon Chelsea. And I feel very strongly about Galatasaray and you feel less strongly. So I say, if we imagine Chelsea and Galatasaray go through, off Chelsea and Galatasaray, that I think would be a good game.
Yeah, I would say Chelsea again. But again, I don't think it's out the realms of possibility that Galatasaray can beat that.
That one I couldn't call.
Yeah, I think it's all... God, honestly, all 4 of those teams, any of those 4 teams go through, I wouldn't question it. I think they've all kind of got an equal chance.
Yeah,
it's that side of the group is That's why I said that. I when I saw all the draws and everything and how it was going to come out, I was like, there is some unbelievable games for the knockout stages. Like there's not really a bad one to look at, to be honest.
No, there actually isn't. Like not at all. I genuinely don't believe that I could actually call it. But if it came to Galatasaray and Chelsea, I just don't think I could pick. Genuinely, I think I would just have to abstain. But if we then go down to Madrid and City, I mean, do you know what? Can I just say, I'm so glad this match is happening at this point in the competition, because otherwise this is the final. So I'm so glad that the whole thing doesn't turn into, we know it's going to end up at City versus Madrid. I think City beat them.
Honestly, I think it could go either way.
Oh yeah, but
I'd like my God. The thing is, Haaland has started to look a bit more like himself. He went through a bit of a downward trajectory, and he's looking a lot better now.
Yeah.
I think this tie is decided on the first game. I think if Real Madrid comes out and absolutely smashes Man City, I think they win. However, if it's like a 1-0 or a 2-1 or something, I think Man City wins this. But it all depends on how Real Madrid comes out of that on that game.
Yeah, that's true. I do, though. Oh. While I agree with you, it could go either way. If you're putting a gun to my head now, I would say City.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just feel it.
Do you know what? I'm going to say Real Madrid.
Ooh. Well, do you know what? You'll be more popular with Nathan and Guess than me. So
I'm just going to say Real Madrid based on the quality that Real Madrid have, like in that team. I know Man City has unbelievable quality as well, but I do think they're going to be got out. And I just think that the match at the Bernabeu, I just think Real Madrid's just going to put like 3 or 4 past Man City, and I do think Man City may score 1 or 2, but I think that it just changes how the game will then be played afterwards.
Now, Harold, and I am going to go to everybody else's comments, but Harold is a United fan, okay? But he's very patriotic. And so he said, I don't care about City outside Haaland, but I don't like Real Madrid, so City for me. All my predictions are vibes and wanting to find the upsets. And I can confirm this because the predictor game that I play, Harold is also in this predictor game. And every week, he predicts with his heart. So all of his predictions are vibes and upsets. That's what he wants out of life. Louise and Harold, the chaos. But Ash, the last one, and then I am going to go to everybody's predictions. Atalanta and Bayern. I reckon Bayern.
I think Bayern just walks that game. I think out of all the games to be played on the round of 16, I think that's the most likely to just be heavily Bayern favoured. Yeah, I don't think there's. I would say it's probably like 80% Bayern wins this. There would have to be some crazy injury or something to stop it.
It's the only game. All the other ones really could go either way. That's the only one that I'm like Bayern definitely. But let's just say Bayern. And then regardless of who goes through, like that side, I would say Atalanta were like, you horrible gits. I'd say all the people that live in Atalanta or support Atalanta are like, this is a fix. This is a fix. See, if I was in that draw with Madrid, City and Bayern, I'd be like, it's a fix, I tell you. They want to be over there with Bodo and Sporting.
Hey, listen, that's how Newcastle fans, that's how we felt 2 seasons ago when we were in the Champions League and our group was bloody Borussia Dortmund, PSG and flipping AC Milan. Like that group was just disgusting. So unfortunately it's just the way the draw went. Atlanta, it's been a pleasure of you being in the Champions League, but we will be seeing you because you will not be going past that. You will most definitely not be going into the semi-finals. I can put my money on that.
Yeah, I don't. They're nowhere near semi-finals. Definitely not. And that's the thing, right? Say if you look at that, say if you end up with Chelsea, Galatasaray from the top ones there, regardless of who wins that between Chelsea or Galatasaray, are they going to be a City or a Madrid or a Bayern? I mean, I know there's always the potential, but I mean, that's a rough group, isn't it?
It's going to be hard to call I would think if it's Real Madrid, Man City, or Bayern, I would say they probably have the highest chance to get through. But at the same time, if Chelsea, Liverpool, I would say that, like I said, I'll probably put those two. I don't think it's impossible, but I think it's definitely more bottom heavy, this one.
Do you know what I hope? I hope Chelsea go as far as possible, because the longer they're in this competition, the less they can focus on finishing in the Champions League spots. So I think Liverpool will lose to Galatasaray. However, I don't want them to. I want Chelsea to win, and I want Liverpool to win.
I know.
Because then they'll leave us alone.
Nathan did say something earlier, which it was about when PSG won last season. It was like they looked terrible, and then this is when they started up a ticking form. It was a bit earlier on, which I understand what he's saying with that. However, I don't think this is the same PSG. I think that they've really. I just don't think they look the same.
No, I don't think they do.
It's much, and also, I think it's like 50 years or something was the last time when the same team won back-to-back Champions League titles. So the chances of PSG winning it again is basically non-existent if you go off laws of probability. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be going. I don't think they're going to be beating Chelsea, to be honest.
What I will say is, it's not predictable. I couldn't tell you who I think is going to be in the final. Do you know what I hope it's not? And I'm being deadly serious. I really, really hope this does not end up Arsenal Man City, because genuinely, if I have to talk about Arsenal Man City in another bloody competition, right, whatever about the Premier League, fair enough, okay? But we're already doing it. Is it the Carabao Cup we're doing it in?
Carabao Cup.
The Premier League. I don't want to do it in the Champions League as well. I don't want to do it.
And Lou, you never know, it could happen in the FA Cup as well.
I'm trying not to think about it. I'm sick to the back heat. I want to talk about other teams. We're already talking about City, Arsenal in the Prem. We're talking about them in the Carabao. I want to talk about other teams as well. I can't do it. So I just hope that's not who it is.
You know what Dave has just said there? Let's change that to Bodo Atalanta final. Now that would be a game nobody would watch.
Yeah.
Actually, I think everyone would just be massive Bodo Glimt fans, to be honest.
I did see we have Aaron in the house, and we have No Man's Sky Clippy in the house also. So welcome in, guys. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of your guys' comments. We will round up on the Champions League. We'll take a quick look at what is happening. Let me have a look here and see. In Villa Wolves, let me have a look. 0-0. Villa Wolves is 0-0 at the moment. The momentum looks to be Villa's, but I don't always trust this momentum calculator thing. But I'm going to keep a wee eye on that as we're going. So I'm going to go through your guys' comments, and then we are going to move along to the Premier League. Okay, so
yeah. It's just what No Man's Sky said that about the 50 years. Yes, the Real Madrid won a 3 back-to-back, but before that, it was like the 80s. So that's what I was trying to say. It's very, very uncommon that it happens.
Yeah. No, that's fair. But let me see. Nathan says, "Hi, Ash. Newcastle has just one job, to stop the noise pollution and defeat the corruption FC Barcelona. Do it whatever way you want, Ash."
Do you know what's really funny? How we said we had this disgusting set of fixtures. Mm-hmm. That we just had absolutely disgusting set of fixtures, and like I said, we've now kind of come to the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, little Lou, I think that has all gone into the shitter now, because so we've got one game now where we've got Everton, which nice. That's what we've got tomorrow. But we've then got Man United, Man City, Barcelona, Chelsea, Barcelona again, and then we've got the Tyne-Weir derby of against Sunderland. We just go through crazy fixtures, and that's if we don't get any further in the FA Cup or the Champions League. Then the fixtures just carry on going flipping off the charts.
Do you know, right? That's incredibly interesting about your fixtures. But what I find even more interesting is, can you say the derby again for me?
The Tyne Wear.
I've been calling that the Tyne Wear derby since, remember Flossie put it in the chat for me, like, since
right. Yeah,
but it's W-E-A-R. So I've been you wear your clothes. So I've been pronouncing it the Tyne Wear this whole time. So it's the Tyne Wear.
Yeah, Tyne Wear. I didn't even realize you saying that.
So, yes, but back to the important talk of after how Lou says things. That is a terrible run of fixtures. That's really bad.
No,
when we go into the Premier League, we're going to talk about where you think you're going to finish up, because that is an incredibly bad run.
Really genuinely bad. I'm not even joking. Newcastle's 2026 I just wish we just shut it off in start of January and just started in April. Like, those 3 months just disappear from my calendar, please.
Do you know what? If you figure out how to do that, let me know, because I would also like to just skip a few months of 2026. It has not been my friend so far. We're falling out altogether. So I understand. Dave Boy says it's a pity Sporting hadn't taken Amram back. It would have been a guaranteed win for Bodo. Fair enough. Nathan says this is a recreation of the Club World Cup, obviously the Chelsea game, and I think this one will be very, very close. The only thing is, as he says there, they've played very recently, so potentially PSG will be coming in with some information they didn't have the first time round. At least they might have been if Maresca was still in office. However, since then, they have now changed managers. So do they actually know anything they didn't know? Probably not, because it's all changed now. Harold says, Inter never thought about losing, so please underestimate us. All jokes aside, Sporting are favourites, but this is football. Correct and right, Harold. Ray has lost the plot completely. Somebody check Ray's temperature. He says, I low-key think Liverpool are favourites for the UCL. Ray, you have got to be trolling.
No, we know what he's doing. He's doing the reverse. The reverse, what's it called?
Reverse psychology.
That's it.
I don't think there's any amount of reverse psychology that's going to work on them Galatasaray fans. I'm giving them no chance against Galatasaray at all. So if they get through that, anything might happen.
If this was a comment at the start of the season, I would have agreed. However, that was six months ago.
Maybe Ray's chat is quite delayed.
Yeah.
We've read that one from Nathan. Will says, I can't see Chelsea beating PSG in the UCL over 2 games. So Will's is saying because it's 2 legs, he doesn't see it.
I do.
I see it, yeah. But I can understand what he's saying, but I see it.
PSG really are not as good as what you guys are thinking. We went away to PSG and we drew 1-1. We probably could have won the game. They look terrible. I honestly, this is the best chance Chelsea's going to have against PSG. That's why I would have taken a European League over like Premier League's Premiership teams. I just think the level of Premiership is just huge right now.
Yeah, I agree. Guest says, I want Galatasaray to win, so it's as simple and straightforward as that. Nathan says, Galatasaray have 3 lethal strikers, and with the spearhead of Osimhen, I think Galatasaray will scrape through. Liverpool. Will says, I wonder if PSG will cheat again this year. Flossie says, we being Newcastle, we will batter Barca, and then I wake up. Dave Boy says it's a different atmosphere in Galatasaray compared to Liverpool, singing You'll Never Walk Alone, and then silence. And yeah, it's just a melting pot. Harold says, I can't see Galatasaray winning this, but a man can hope. Don't you worry, Harold. I'm going to keep saying it until it happens. There aren't limits to how shite LFC play and still get results. I think mentally, I think they're going to lose before they're even on the pitch. Nathan says, if Newcastle defeat Barcelona, I will forever become an Ash worshipper because I want them to crash out despite getting easy draws every year. Ash, Nathan is putting a lot of pressure on your shoulders. I hope that you can withstand this pressure when you step onto the pitch. Let me see. Flossie says, a Galatasaray game is so noisy, it's unreal. They never stop singing. Love that. Will says he reckons City will win. Pep has their number in reference to Madrid. Dave Boy says, except Liverpool, I would go for any team over Madrid. Madrid are not popular other than with Nathan and Guess. Everybody else is like anti-Madrid. Even though they're, do you know what it is? Yeah, see if people are selecting City over you, you have to be really despicable to be City to be the better team in that.
I think people just don't like them as well because some of the players that they have now. It's like it feels like they've kind of just gone out and just bought all the best players as well.
Yeah. It's just do you know what I think it is? They're a bit arrogant. Like as a club, as a team, as individuals, they're all arrogant. I don't follow La Liga, so I don't really, have that strong feeling. But it's the passing impression I get when I see anything of them, if that makes sense.
All really Real Madrid fans, like they kind of demand is Champions Leagues. Their kind of mindset is they'll win the La Liga and that it goes off the Champions League. So yeah, it's a very arrogant kind of fan base, but not because there's not a reason to be. You would understand it, like say with PSG. If PSG demand that they win the league, so they have to focus on the Champions League. It just is what it is. It's not that bad.
Guess is answering you, Ash. She says, but that's what Madrid does. They've been buying stars for decades. Perez uses the Champions League and World Cup. WC World Cup as in the Club World Cup.
I know. The
World Cup as a shopping window. Yes, okay, I understand. I should have finished the sentence and it would have made sense. Clever me. Yeah. Nathan says, Flossie, I will use every dark magic in the book for Newcastle to defeat Barcelona. And can I just remind everyone, Nathan is a Madrid fan. So that does go some way to explaining his dislike for Barcelona.
I thought you were about to say, everyone, Nathan is a magician. I thought that was what you were going to leave at.
You know what? Maybe he is a magician. We will all know. If you beat Barcelona, we will know it was Nathan's juju. What else? Guess, very arrogantly, as a Madrid fan says, we've been bad this season. I expect nothing. Harold says, oh yeah, we've read that one out. Nathan is hugging you virtually, Ash. He's sending all of the luck. Let me see. You know what? Right. Guess is one of the nicest people I know. Like, she's really just a nice person. Like, I'm grand, and then if you annoy me, I'm a bit of a bitch, okay? I can be a bit of a see you next Tuesday. Guess is genuinely one of the nicest people I've ever known. And her attempt to be mean, Harold, with comments like these, I will start pronouncing Haaland wrong. And I just love that that's the meanest thing she can say because she's so nice. Do you know when a polite person is rude, but it's not like real rude, it's like just slightly less polite?
I will bake your croissants extra with not extra fluff. It's going to be slightly undercooked.
No love going in your croissant today. Honestly, I just love it. I love it. She's absolutely fantastic. Dave Boy says, I love a group of death, especially when we're not in it. We can enjoy all of the chaos. This is the one silver lining about not being in the competition. We don't have to worry about it whatsoever. We can literally just be like, this is fantastic. Chaos everywhere. Will's follow that up with, Ash still has nightmares about that group of death because he hangs out in your bedroom to know what you're dreaming about.
Yeah. It's just whispering it into my ear.
He's putting it in there. But he also agrees with my point of, yeah, it's great when you're not in them, 100%. And Nathan says, Madrid versus Bodo final. Who says no? And then No Man Skippy. So No Man Sky Clippy is new. I love that. It's the little Clippy man from when we were younger, the Microsoft Clippy, and he would talk to you. Yeah, I love that. Love the name. Love the profile picture. Welcome. I think Newcastle has a chance against Barcelona. Just go full Brexit FC. Spam those long balls against that high line in inverted comments. No Frankie de Jong, no party. Just kill the game at St. James Park. So, Eddie Howe, if you're listening, this is what we need you to do, okay? No Man Sky Clippy has got it sorted. You don't even need to think about it. Just do it. Okay.
Yeah, I think the game we played against them is going to help Eddie Howe quite a lot. Eddie Howe is a very good manager at playing someone and trying to like break down their tactics and how they play in the way that they are. He's a very methodical manager. So I think it will have helped him quite a lot. My only concern is Pedri, to be honest. That Pedri and obviously Lamine Yamal, those are unbelievable talents. And they will need to be shut down. And it's going to be interesting because it's going to be Lamine Yamal against Lewis Hall. So there we go. That's going to be a great matchup.
Do you know what? I really like Lewis Hall, so I do.
I have said for so long that I think he is up there at being the best left backs in the world. Like the way he plays is sensational. Like because obviously he was naturally he was a midfielder who's been put into a left back role. Kind of similar to flipping Rico, buddy, what's he called? Flipping Nico G, buddy, Nico O'Reilly. Sorry, Nico O'Reilly at Man City.
Nico.
I'm thinking.
Because I thought of Rico Lewis.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking of Gonzalez.
I lost the plot.
Nico O'Reilly for Man City. He's a natural midfielder and being put as left back as well. However, Lewis Hall has got a much more defensive capabilities than what Nico O'Reilly has. I think Nico O'Reilly's better at going forward than Lewis Hall, but like it's going to be a very interesting
matchup. Yeah, there's going to be some really good individual battles within those matches, which I think will be very good.
The one thing I would say about Lewis Hall I would say out of if any other defender did this, I'd be very worried. He has a massive tendency to get the ball and take on players. He does this all the time. He'll just pick up the ball and take on like 3 or 4 players. And I am not going to lie, if that was any other defender, I would be absolutely shitting myself. However, for some reason, he is so good with a ball at his feet that it actually doesn't worry me. And that says a lot when you think about a defender doing
especially at his age, Ash. Especially at his age. That's so good. Now, in response to Nathan, who asked, Madrid versus Bodo final, who says no, Wills has said no. He has raised his hand and said no. Guest said yes, please. So there's a mixed reaction to that one. Dave Boy says, last time we were in this, we had Death in goal, Onana, and then obviously we saw our Aaron in the house. Aaron is reminding everybody to hit the like button, but you know what, guys? And I don't normally talk about subscribers too much. I say when we're growing, when we've got some extra ones, but at the start of this video, we had 388 subscribers, which is absolutely massive. It's like really huge. And like, thank you all so much. What I would love to do, if possible, is I would love to get to 500 subscribers. That will allow me to be able to create memberships and do different things on the channel, but the minimum threshold is 500. So obviously everybody is here because you're all regulars, you're all here all the time. I love the fact you're here. I appreciate the time that you give up to be here, like really every evening. But if any of your friends or like anybody you know, family, anybody else's alternative devices, log in on your burner accounts, I'm not fussy, but I would love to get to 500 subscribers. So yes, please do hit the like button. But if you know anybody who would be interested or who would enjoy it and isn't subscribed, please get them subscribed. Get your burner subscribed. Get your kids stuff subscribed. Get your wife husband stuff subscribed. I'm not fussy about who they are. Just get them in the gang. They don't have to watch the streams. They just have to hit the subscribe button. My friends are subscribed and they just play me on mute in the background. They don't actually watch me at all. They're like, we hear enough of you talking. We're not going to listen to you talk some more. So they've subscribed, but they don't actually watch me. But yeah, guys, if possible, please do encourage people to join the gang because we have a nice little crew in here. So it'll be nice to see it grow a little bit. I do try not to push it too much because I just want to enjoy the chats, but new doors open at 500 subs and we're very, very, very close. So I would appreciate, if possible, to spread the word. Wills would like Aaron to know that he is a beautiful man. So I think that's a lovely message. We read that out from the No Man's Sky clippy. That was the one you answered already. Flossie is saying she wouldn't watch that final. Everybody's saying hi. Gary is going to keep us up to date on Wolves versus Villa. Thank you very much, my friend. Nathan says, poor Ash. I'm not sure what I said at that moment in time that he was feeling sorry. Probably I don't know.
I support Newcastle.
It could be that. It could be that.
It's been down to that.
There you go. He's followed it up with, away the lads, Ash. Don't lose hope. Do you know what it is? Nathan has just been a beacon of positivity this evening. I love it. No Man's Sky Kilby says, Newcastle does have a rough set of fixtures. At least 3 of the 4 matches are at home. That's good. Let me see. What else are the people saying before we get stuck into the Premier League? There's just so much to talk about at the minute. Like everywhere I look, there's stuff to talk about. Will says, I'm so glad Liverpool are on the other side. They are the one team we can't score against. Crazy when they're conceding so many goals. Ray says, if we get to the final, Liverpool are the one team I don't want to see. That's incredible that the 2 Arsenal fans are saying the one team they don't want is Liverpool. And I would have said Liverpool have been like absolutely like terrible.
I get that, but yeah, Liverpool's kind of been Arsenal's bogey team this year. Well, that and Wolves. Wolves has also been probably Arsenal's bogey team.
I want Wolves to be everybody's bogey team except for ours. They're still 0-0 at the minute, which is disappointing because
I don't know if you've seen the stats. They've both got like 0.2 XG or something. I'm imagining it's an absolute dross game.
Yeah, maybe. And you know what? I was disappointed I wasn't getting to watch it. Maybe I've saved myself from myself. You guys have saved me.
It's got Ollie Watkins is being put as a striker again. So
where's Morgan Rogers? Is he injured?
Morgan Rogers is on.
What's he doing? He was scoring for a little while. Is his purple patch over? That was fast.
So the thing about Morgan Rogers, he's a very weird player. He doesn't put in a lot of graft, but when he gets the ball, he can produce a lot of quality.
He's talented.
So if the team isn't doing well, he doesn't look as good. So he's just one of those players. He was kind of like Cole Palmer was for Chelsea. When he was just banging in every goal, he was scoring a lot of goals because the team was looking good. So sometimes if the team doesn't look as good, it highlights the stuff they're doing. They're not doing as much. So so I think for Morgan Rogers, not having John McGinn currently there and Tielemans, I think is a big miss for him.
Yeah, that's true. But I still every time we say the name Tielemans, I just think about the push. I can't. I will never look at him the same way again after that because it was genuinely the craziest thing I have ever seen on a real level. I've never seen anything like it. So, I do. Sorry, my computer's having a bit of a fit. It was just
wobbly.
I've ever seen. It's having a bit of a moment on me, and it's having a bit of a wobble like that match. But
wobble.
Wills here says, fair Ash, but you're not taking into account how bad Chelsea are. To be fair, I do think they've been a lot better under Rosenio.
Do you know why I disagree with this? Because the time I spoke about was about when we played them away and we were in the absolute flipping sticks. We were in the shitter at this point. So you've also got to take to a fact we were not on form at all when we played PSG and looked as good as what we did against them. So I think Chelsea are going to be absolutely fine.
Fair. Sticking on topic, everybody's mad to talk about Chelsea tonight. No Man Sky Clippy says, I think Chelsea are winning this UCL will be the most Chelsea thing to have happened since the Club World Cup final. Chelsea just randomly wins trophies that they have no business winning. I love this comment. No Man Sky Cliffy, let us know, who is your club? Who do you support? Because we've such a mix in here. I never remember everybody's clubs. I always remember Ray because he has his profile pictures, which helps me out. If it's not in your, and like Gary's is in his profile picture, and obviously he found me through Kate and Jimbo, so I know he's Spurs. But No Man Sky Clippy, let us know who you support, because we've such a mixed group in here. Let me see what else. What else have we got? Wills reckons Mbappe is a gift and a curse, and I think that's a very fair statement. Guess follows that with, so is Vinny, to be fair. Do you know what? I think all their players are a little bit diva-like at the moment. I just think it's very much the Wills. That's a good reminder. Who has got our purple crowns this evening? I don't want the top chat. I want all the chat. Can I see it, please? Wills was so pleased with his number one spot. He says, finally, I've reached number one. And Flossie laughed at him and said, it's only taken you 3 weeks. Do you want to know who's in the number one spot at the moment, Ash?
There is a...
It's Mama Flossie. Wills is number 2. Mama Flossie has pushed him out of the number one spot. So we'll just leave that one alone for the moment. Let me see. What else are we talking about? Wills is telling people to never give up. Correct and right, Wills. Sorry to have burst that bubble. Ray says Zinchenko regen. I think that was when we were talking about Lewis Hall that came in. And Flossie said he's a terrier. So yeah, definitely about Lewis Hall. No Man Sky Clippy says Lewis Hall has better defensive abilities than Nico O'Reilly. Nico played as a fullback until he scored a few days ago when Pep played him and benched Foden.
I think that was just about me saying that Lewis Hall, I think, is better in defensive than Nico O'Reilly, which I stand on. Like, all the stats back it as well, and the eye test, if you watch it, definitely backs it. I do actually have a graph that shows.
Of
Lewis
course,
Hall.
you have a graph. If you didn't have a graph, I'd be worried about you. If you want, whack your graph up if you want.
I use. Let me get it up.
While you're looking for that, I'm going to go through the comments and then we'll pull it up. Okay? Oh, you got it. That was fast, lads. He had this prepped. He knew this was going to come up.
I actually saw him type this comment before, and because I already looked at this because I had conversations about Lewis Hall being up here, and his stats actually back what a lot of the stuff I said. I actually said that I said Nico O'Reilly looked better at carrying the ball forward over Lewis Hall. So this is off this season, as you can see, but both times off this season. You can do things off different times, but more or less what it does, it allows you to actually check different fullbacks and stuff, or anything. If you want to do centre mid strikers, you can actually analyze them all differently. So as you can see, based off this, it does show that Nico O'Reilly is better at carrying the ball, which is how I would have thought as well. And like I said, the defensive capabilities are better by Lewis Hall, which I would agree. Granted, I always say stats, it's hard to you got to take it with a pinch of salt.
Look at the progressive passes one.
Oh yeah. His Lewis Hall progressive passes is amazing. That's why I said what Nico O'Reilly likes to do a lot is take the ball forward and carry it forward, and then which he does a lot. Lewis Hall, like I said, I think he's an absolute unbelievable all-rounded defender, fullback, especially for someone at his age. It's unbelievable. I think he is the shoe-in for the starter role at left back for England when we get to the World Cup. I've heard a lot of other pundits, including Micah Richards, who is a Man City fan, said about Lewis Hall actually being the starting left back over Nico O'Reilly. He said,
there you go.
So and that says a lot. But yeah, look, I'm very, very think we are very much lucky to have Lewis Hall play for our team, and I can imagine in the coming years there's going to be a lot of interest for him, especially if he keeps playing like this.
He's not near retirement, which is phenomenal based on Newcastle standards at the moment. Yeah. Nathan says, get Lou to 500 and I will make sure it's Madrid versus United in the final next year. I mean, there's a bang for your buck. Flossie says, I can't blame... What did I say that she can't blame them for? Oh, putting me on mute. Fair. Fair. It's legit. I was like, what did I say? Yes. It's a gang now. It's not a cult. I don't know which one's worse. Will says, definitely. Hashtag not a cult. Nathan says, if Lou has a cult, I want a Premier membership. I'm going to get arrested one day. Billy is in the house. Thank you for being here, Billy. Billy is always in the comments after the show. Even if Billy doesn't catch us live, always drops a comment. So love that. Thank you for being here. Flossie says, it's the cult of tea, Nathan, and you are more than welcome. Yes, you are. Nathan says he loves a coffee, but he also loves to cook. Do you know what? I love a coffee. I like a latte in the morning, and then I like tea. Sometimes I have tea and toast for breakfast, and then I have a latte in the afternoon. I like to change it up.
I do like a latte, but to be honest, for me, I am just such an iced coffee person. I drink iced coffee far too much.
Really?
It's yeah.
No, I like the heat.
Yeah, I do like it. I do like an iced latte, a normal latte, but I like an iced latte. For me, for some reason, I'm very warm-blooded. I radiate heat. Like, it's. I don't know what's happened to my body, but for some reason, I just generate heat. So I don't know why. That's why I like cold drinks more. Maybe it's just to try and cool my body down.
Do you know and I'm not being funny, there's a medical condition, okay, where your body can be warmer. So my ex, he had like a thing and he was diagnosed with it, and his body temperature was a degree higher than the normal human body temperature. So he was always roasting. It could be freezing, the rest of us be freezing, but he was literally warmer than the rest of us. So you should get yourself checked out. Billy is being real funny and says, was Man United invited to the UCL draw? Yes, but we were washing our hair tonight, so we couldn't turn up. Soz. What else?
Sounds like the menopause.
Gareth Dorgan. All right, Ash. Well, Gareth Dorgan.
No, that is... No,
Patrick Dorgan.
Guess just said my body heat sounds like the menopause is what she said.
Oh, fair. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Be news to me if I'm going through that.
Flossie took it. Flossie took the number one. Guess says yay, Queen Flossie, while Nathan says Justin for Wills. Love it. Absolutely love it. And Wills, with a very good one, says number 2 suits me more. Not sure why. As an Arsenal fan, we could hazard a guess. And Nathan says classic Ash with your graph. That's what that was. Gary updated us 0-0 at halftime. He is keeping us up to date with what is going on. Nathan says, who cares about Nico O'Reilly? Even I am better than him. Lewis Hall is head and shoulders above Nico, says Wills, who also says, has Nico not played one progressive pass? To be fair, what I'll say is, if he's carrying the ball forward, he can't also be making progressive passes. You're normally going to either do the progressive pass or you're going to progress it yourself by carrying. So I can understand why both of those won't be high in the same player. No Man Sky Clippy says, Big Meek's disrespect will not be tolerated. The 5 times UCL appearance maker.
I was going to say, it was a comment. Yeah, when you asked him about what team he supports, he did a comment before, and I knew straight away he was a Man City.
I sense it.
I knew from a comment that he did before.
To be fair, Yeah, no. I was going to say, can we guess it from his name? Not really. No, you just sussed him out. You sussed him. You sniffed him out. The 5-time UCL appearance maker was a Man City player, not just a fan. He straight burst onto the scene. Do you know what I will say about Micah Richards? I think he's very funny. Like, he's a really funny guy.
I love Micah Richards. Like I say, he does the podcast with Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer, which obviously I most definitely watch that for Alan Shearer, and Gary Lineker is obviously just unbelievable for the whole football industry, really. So yeah, and obviously Micah Richards is always on that, and I do like his takes. He's on CBS and stuff as well with Jamie Carragher and Thierry Henry and stuff. It's he's an unbelievable like pundit and person to listen to. He has some great takes.
He seems like a genuinely nice guy, which I think matters.
Do you know what? So he said they would do like the podcast one time, like on YouTube, and he flew out to like Dubai or something for like an event there, and he dialed on to the podcast like for a bit, and he was just filming like while he was in a party, just meeting up with people, like gave like his phone to some random people to talk to Alan Shearer. It was absolutely hilarious, to be honest. Great guy.
He says no. He's denying that he's a Man City fan. He said a Man City fan wouldn't be calling Patrick Dorgu as Gareth Dorgu, Ash. Why would any fan call Patrick Dorgu Gareth Dorgu? This is obviously a joke that I'm not getting. If someone's name is Patrick, why would you call them Gareth?
If you're
in Gareth Bale, he's calling him as in Gareth Bale. Is he a United fan then?
No, but wait, well, I don't understand this, because if you're comparing Patrick Dorgu and saying he is on the same level as Gareth Bale,
then he's a United fan, not a City fan.
Okay.
That's what he's saying. He's saying he's taking great exception to the fact that you've called him a Man City fan now. He's raging. He's having none of you, Ash. You're out. Billy says Big Meeks is an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, do you know what, Billy
says? Man, like Big Meeks.
On that, he definitely is not an Arsenal fan, by the way. So he actually came out the other day, and literally Gary Lineker was like, "You don't have to do this, Micah." But basically, he was saying, as a kid, he was an Arsenal fan, but since he's like grown up and went through the City Academy and everything, he is a Man City fan, and he is through and through. And he even said it straight up. He wants Man City to win the league and Arsenal to lose it. So to squash that, he is definitely a Man City fan.
Yeah, even if he ever was an Arsenal fan, he's not anymore. Which
not anymore.
Is fair enough, because life happens, people change. I think it's different when you go and play for a team. The one that probably stands out as being different is Wayne Rooney is definitely still an Everton fan, 100%. Even though he played for United, he's definitely still an Everton fan. When we played them last week, he was sat in the Everton side, which but I didn't feel like badly. It made me smile, actually, because I thought, you know what? We were his job. He probably wants us to do well against everybody else, but at the end of the day, he's an Everton fan. I respect that. I've no problem with that. He played for us. He played well. That's it. He's done his duty. Gary says, but we all want Man City to win the league. Let's not say all. I don't want Arsenal or City to win the league. I mean, I'm going to be disappointed, clearly, but I don't want either of the buggers to win. But that does bring us very nicely on to the Premier League. So let's go to the Premier League. Round 28, Ash. Bloody hell, right. Share my screen. What would you like to see? The Premier League. Okay, let me scroll out so you can see it. And there we have it. Still 0-0. This is how we are looking at the moment. Villa, if they do this, again, it's another 2 points dropped. So it's not, from this loss, that's it.
Yeah.
They just fell right off, because up until that point, they were matching City. They just aren't anymore. But United, still in 4th. Yous are in 11th, Ash. That's not phenomenal.
Yeah, you didn't need to drop that in there, did you? You could have skipped past us and not said a word.
I was surprised.
Granted, obviously, if we win the game, we would go up to 8th.
Only if nobody else wins.
Yeah, but
I mean...
No, but you've got to remember our game is against Everton, so which is
yes, okay, so yeah, fair.
It's it's obviously a chance of that happening.
But you know what we'll do? Why don't we go in to our predictor screen, okay? And then as we're going through the matches, we'll talk about each team, and that way we won't skip anyone. And we'll do it that way. But let me see what. So Carrie said about everybody wanting City to win the league. Flossie says no, we don't, which is exactly what I said. Nathan said I want Aston Villa to win, but I guess that's over. I'm with you, Nathan. They'll let us down. Emery and Villa have seriously let us down. Luke says I'd love it if Arsenal won the league. And why do you hate Arsenal, Flossie? I think a lot of people dislike them at the moment. What do we say? So, no man, Sky Cliffy, this will get rid of any doubt of my English Premier League allegiances. Cunha, Bruno, Luke Shaw, Cunha, Bruno. I was not going to sing that for you. Apologies. But yeah, so that he has confessed to being a United fan. He is one of us. Wills says, before we go any further, Newcastle and Sunderland are on the same points after 27 games. It's genuinely amazing as an outsider. Wills just loves to bring us back to the facts of the matter, which, let me check who is top of the league at the minute. Wills, you've gone down to third. We've got Flossie in first. We have Luke in second. Luke has snuck up there. Wills is in third. And we have Gary in fourth. Gary giving us the updates on the football in fourth. So let's go here, because then we can talk about everybody a game at a time and we won't miss them. Now, Luke did nab Flossie because Flossie said that she doesn't hate any team. And Luke asked her, not even Sunderland. And Flossie has had to have a moment to think. But obviously, we put in earlier that we thought the match between Villa and Wolves, I would like to say I thought Wolves would win. But as a group, we selected 2-1.
I said draw.
You did say draw. 0-0. No, thank you. What is this nonsense? Nathan is off to sleep because he has to work tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here, Nathan. Sleep well and don't work too hard tomorrow. And we will catch you on the next one, my dear. Now, Bournemouth and Sunderland. So as was pointed out there, Sunderland are actually in here in the table on the same points as Newcastle. You are literally ahead of them by having a less worst goal difference, basically, because they're both on minus. So Sunderland are here on 12th. Considering where they were for a large part of the season, they have drastically fallen down the table, but they're still far better than you would expect a newly promoted team to be. So they are on 36 points. And who did we say they are facing? They are facing Bournemouth. Bournemouth are up here in 8th. Bloody hell. Who have won 3 of their last 5 and drawn. So Bournemouth are unbeaten. Definitely in their last 5. How many? Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if we go back, 6. So you have to go back 7 games to Arsenal since the last time. The 3rd of January was the last time Bournemouth lost a game, which is a bit mental.
Although, wait, go back on there.
Oh, hold on. Where's Bournemouth? Yeah. And then...
Scroll down.
Yeah, but that's the FA Cup.
I know, but look at the play. Wait! Open the bags!
I was like, what is he doing? I didn't even click that it was used that they'd played. So, what do we reckon? Bournemouth are doing bloody well. Yeah, what do you reckon, Ash? To Bournemouth, to Sunderland, to the fact that Sunderland started so well, try and take a breath and be fair. Do your best. I believe in you.
Right, so I was going to say 7-1. So I'll try and be a bit more humble. Look, I personally want these teams to draw for my sake. However, I think Bournemouth's going to win 3-0, if I'm going to be honest. So Flossie's done it for me, 12-0. God, honest to God, this flu that I've got is the most annoying thing ever. Because if I laugh, I have to cough. So stop making me laugh, man.
That was so funny. So funny.
Flossie's done it for me.
That's brilliant. But on a real, right, before, obviously, you guys do get your score predictions in, but on a real level, what do we actually think of the teams this season? Because we always do our scores, but we don't often kind of talk in depth what we actually think of the season the teams are having. Like, 8th for Bournemouth is really good, because in my head, they're just a really boring dross 0-0, 1-0 team, but clearly not.
That's an incredible position for when you put into context of how good the other teams are meant to be. I think it also highlights a lot of teams that have maybe underperformed.
Yes.
Newcastle being one of them. We definitely have done. So yeah, they've done very well, especially at home. Obviously Semenyo was a big part of it, but even though they've sold Semenyo and stuff now, they've been incredibly well. So
I think that's the big thing, because I think a lot of people thought, like, once they lost Semenyo, who has done phenomenally at City since he's gone there, people thought, bloody hell. But they're sticking to it now. Wills is staying there. They're both good defensively, but struggling to score. And I suppose when you lose a player like Semenyo, that is going to happen. But overall, they're still doing bloody well. Gary is just letting us know, second half has kicked off between Wolves and Aston Villa. So let me just refresh this and it will show us, yes, that it has now kicked off. So I agree. I think it's a fantastic season. And look, I know obviously you're not going to want to say too many nice things about Sunderland, but given, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The one thing I'll say about them is
Granit Xhaka. I won't tell anyone.
Granit Xhaka is an unbelievable player. And I think it was an absolute cue that Sunderland managed to pick someone like him up. He's one of those players that I think even when he gets a bit older, he's still a massive talisman, and people really seem to just downplay the fact that he was in an unbeatable team at Bayer Leverkusen in the very recent time. He's not exactly fallen off a cliff since then. He's still... Yeah, okay, right, we're going to ignore Dave's comment. Let's just delete that before anyone sees that on the face of the earth.
I was just going to gloss over that.
Yeah, but I think they've had, to me, Roofs has been an unbelievable keeper, and Granit Xhaka has been unbelievable for them. They've had great games at times for certain players like Brobbey and everyone else. However, those two, I think, have definitely been even McKayle's has been really good for them. But Granit Xhaka and Roofs has been the standout two players for them. And you can tell since Granit Xhaka got injured, their form fell off a cliff.
100%. 100%. And it makes you wonder, because while he's fantastic, he's not getting any younger. So it does make you wonder, are they just going to fall right back off, like when they lose him permanently? Like, if this is what they've done without him for a few matches, what is it going to be like when they don't have him anymore, because he is at that age? So I would have to say I would probably be going with a Bournemouth win. I have to say, as much as I want to say Sunderland, I would probably go with Bournemouth win. I would probably go 2-0. I think I would probably go 2-0 would be my guess. But what did you say? What's your real score?
I said 3-0 to Bournemouth.
Okay. Let me just see here, because I actually did, because I do them wee predictions. So let me just where have I put them? Here. So I wrote it down earlier, because I get influenced. I'm so bad. I talk myself around and I influence myself. So what I wrote down earlier, I put 2-0 Bournemouth. So I've come to the same conclusion, which is good for me. What have the chat said? Now, No Man's Sky Clippy has said, Xhaka is an invincible. Bro went an entire season losing only one match. Absolutely correct. Flossie says, I used to look after a Sunderland keeper's dog. Flossie minds doggos. That's actually quite cool. But in terms of score predictions, Flossie has gone with a Bournemouth win. Wills has gone 0-0. which, to be fair, given how the first match of the game week is going, probably isn't crazy. Gary says Bournemouth 2-1. Dave Boy shockingly says Sunderland 2-1.
Going off what Flossie just said, my cousin went to school and is best friends with Jordan Henderson's sister.
Say that again?
My cousin went to school and is best friends with Jordan Henderson's sister.
Huh. Crazy, isn't it?
He used to come and pick her up sometimes. Like, he's been round to like her house and everything. Yeah, it's weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I told you.
Small world, isn't it?
Half my family, my mum's side's all from Sunderland, so the less I talk about that.
To be fair, my auntie used to be a nanny for Chris Tarrant's kids when he was doing Millionaire and stuff. So
interesting.
Yeah. Back in the day. Apparently he's lovely. So supposedly, now I don't know how true the story is, but supposedly my mum and my dad and one of my other aunties went to visit, and they took his boat out on his lake. And you know the little things that hold the oars in place?
Yeah.
They broke it off his boat and it fell in the lake. So my auntie, the one that was working with him, refused to speak to them after they broke his boat and dropped something in the lake. And supposedly my auntie was more annoyed than him. He was lovely. He was like, oh, things happen. Don't worry about it. My auntie was raging. She's going to kill them. They were going in the lake after it. But yeah, so supposedly he's really, really lovely. Like, he's very down to earth. So it goes to show you. Flossie says, Lou, you want that Villa score put in the list for later? Oh, because the match will already be over. Yeah, whack it in, Flossie. Whack it in, sure. Because otherwise, you know what will happen? We'll be looking back on it one week and we'll be like, we're missing a score. Why are we missing one? And we will forget. You might remember, I will forget. So yeah, whack it in. And actually, that does just remind me as well. Flossie is going to be putting, so after the live show is over, in the comments that stay underneath the video, Flossie is writing down all of the score predictions that we come up with together as a group. She's going to put them in a comment underneath the video. So if anybody wants to come back and check without having to go through the video what our score predictions were, you'll be able to see it in Mama Flossie's comment. If you guys so obviously we don't always agree. Myself and Ash try and put in the predictor what the one is the most popular within the chat. But if you want to put in your own individual score predictions in the comments afterwards, stick them in the comments. And that way, do you know when you're right and everyone else is wrong? And you can say, well, I predicted this. Feel free to come back and be like, look, I was correct, because I know Will's last week, he had 2 of them. By the end of Saturday, he already had 2 of them right. And he was like, I said this on the stream. And I was like, if you put it in a comment, people can actually see it and come back and be like, oh, you were right, you were wrong. So do feel free to get those stuck in there. But also thank you to Mama Flossie for doing the admin work that I am too disorganized to do, essentially. But I think we are going with Bournemouth. But we said Flossie had a win for Bournemouth. Wills had a draw. You obviously had a win for Bournemouth. I had a win for Bournemouth. Gary had a win for Bournemouth. Dave Boy went for Sunderland. I am not surprised. So yeah, that leaves us with a win to Bournemouth. So what score do you reckon, Ash?
2-0? Yeah, you can do 2-0.
What did you say?
I said 3-0. But 2-0's not terrible.
Well, to be fair, we've all said, bar Dave, we've all said Bournemouth. So maybe that does call for a 3. So next we have Burnley Brentford. Now, what I went for with my prediction on this, I said Brentford 3-1. That was my prediction earlier today.
Yeah, I think I'd agree on that.
Yeah, I just think Brentford are so good at the minute.
They are. The only thing that I guess has been on my mind is Burnley's being a bit of a bogey team for some teams at the moment. That I could see it being a 1-1, to be honest.
Okay, fair.
Oh, okay. I've just seen the comments. 2 people said 1-1 as well.
Oh, wow.
Personally, so if I had to, I would be saying either 3-1 Brentford or 1-1 draw. And I could see it being a 1-1 draw, to be honest.
You see, I'm just stuck on Brentford. I can see what people are saying, but I'm stuck on Brentford.
It's just because Burnley's I think it's the only reason why I say it is because Burnley's at home. If Brentford was at home, I think it'd be a different story. I think, but 1-1 or 3-1. I don't know. It's going to be a flip of a coin for me.
Burnley have started to do well of late. I don't think they have any chance of getting out of the relegation zone. Like, if you look there, like West Ham are only 2 points behind Forest. There's 4 points to Spurs. This is crazy. We're going to talk about this. But I mean...
Yeah, Burnley's going down.
They are going down, but they've definitely... I mean, they've started, like, there they are, beating Crystal Palace. But to be fair, Crystal Palace have dropped off a cliff. They drew to Chelsea, which is obviously a massive scalp. This draw was against Spurs, which again, traditionally would be a big thing. And even though Spurs are all the way down here, you still sort of expect them to beat Burnley, even if that's a little unfair, but they didn't. So it's not that Burnley have been dreadful, but Brentford have been very, very good. Really, really good this season. Do you remember we said they were the one we picked to drop down the table? Yeah. I can't believe how wrong we were. Of all the teams we could have picked, this was who we went for. But like, I mean, they're doing so well. To be fair, I could do with Burnley winning and Brentford losing, because anybody here needs to bugger off and lose, really. So I kind of need Brentford to lose. I want them to lose because it's conflicting, because I feel like Brentford are like a low team. They're a small team. I should want them to win because they're like an underdog, but I can't want them to win because they'll only be just like right behind us. And we need the gap to keep getting bigger, because let's face it, at some point we're going to muck up. So while I believe Brentford will win, I hope they don't, and that your 1-1 might be more accurate. Guys, what are we doing? We're slacking off. I have 3 score predictions for Burnley and Brentford. What are we doing? Get your score predictions in that chat. Never mind the dogs and the Tarrants and everything else. What is the score predictions, please? Gary is saying 1-1, which is what you said. Dave Boy says 1-1, which is what you said. Wills is with me and reckons a Brentford win. So at the moment, the 1-1 draw is what's winning. Because they're all here. I see all their little eyeballs here. It tells me on the screen, all the eyeballs that's in the house. And nobody's given me any scores, even though I can see them watching. At the very least, I hope we've got likes. I do hope we've got likes. Otherwise, it's going to be quite disappointing. I have been informed that we have 2 extra teacups. We now have 390 teacups subscribed to the channel. We only need 110 more to get to 500, which is actually really bloody brilliant. I think that's quite fantastical. So I'm very proud of everybody. Go team. Keep showing it to people. Keep subscribing on your burner accounts. Let everybody know. Everybody's got them. But it looks like 1-1 is the score prediction. So let's get her whacked in there. And then we have this little beauty. Now, I have put my prediction for this, 1-1 was my prediction. The reason I've gone with 1-1 is because I couldn't decide. I genuinely believed there is a possibility that West Ham could beat Liverpool because they've been so woeful. But also, Liverpool might win. So since I couldn't decide, I went with a draw.
I would say 2-0 Liverpool, to be honest.
Ash.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that one. I don't think it's going to be... I know West Ham's
had a good... one in their last 5. They've done really well.
True, but Liverpool's also won 3 in the last 5 as well. So I can just see them. So I can see them winning this 2-0.
But Ash, that would put them on 48, which is absolutely unacceptable. We cannot allow that to happen.
I would also agree. However, I think it's going to happen.
Now, obviously part of it is I want Liverpool to lose. Always, especially when they're only 3 points behind my own team. Also, they have been overall dreadful this season. While they have recently hit a little bit of form in terms of results, 3 out of 5 wins is decent enough considering how the rest of their season went. I do also genuinely believe West Ham they're probably the most motivated team in the Premier League right now. And I mean that quite sincerely. It's not a dig at Arsenal. For West Ham, it is literally the difference in whether they're going to be in the Premier League or not. That is an enormous difference. It's massive for their season. And if they manage to win against Liverpool and Forest take a wobble, which, let's face it, is possible, or Spurs take a wobble, which again is very possible, I genuinely do believe West Ham can.
By the way,
yeah,
Wolves has just scored.
Wahey! Woo! I told you all, Wolves. I was the only one who said it. Let me see. Have I got it? Can you see that? Yes.
Yeah. I've said a 1-1 draw. So if Villa scores now, the 1-1 draw becomes a thing.
Was I the only one that said a Wolves win? Me? Did Dave Boy go with me? Normally Dave Boy goes with my mad stuff. But definitely I said it. Pleased as punch. Delighted. Go on, Wolves.
It was potentially your favourite, your centre mid that you got linked to for ages, Andre Gomez.
Oops. Delighted. Absolutely delighted. Well done, Wolves. Go on. Also, that would mean if it was to stay like this, or even if Wolves might get another one, that would mean we, before tomorrow, would be 3 points behind Aston Villa. And if we won our game, we would go level on points with Aston Villa, and we already have a better goal difference. So...
Wait, scroll down, Lou.
Yeah?
The comeback's on.
Woohoo!
They're coming out of the relegation battle.
Also, they would officially not be the worst Premier League team ever anymore. Officially, they would be past the 11-point mark. So people would stop saying that about them then.
I've said this for months that they're not as bad as what they look.
They're definitely not.
Their points total, I think they've got unlucky in some games, to be honest, which unfortunately it can happen.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. They've definitely been unlucky in some of those games. But if it stays as it is and United win tomorrow, we go third, Ash. Third. No Man's Sky Clippy says Spurs can wobble. They've been wobbly all season. Will says Liverpool have only lost once in the last 19 games against West Ham. Do you know what that tells me, Wills? They're due a loss. It's past time. Therefore, there's going to be a loss. Billy says Burnley are not down yet. I mean, technically not. To be fair,
I think they are.
I think they are. But let's just say there's a catastrophe, okay? It's not, I don't believe, impossible for both Spurs and Forest to go down.
The biggest issue that I have with the Burnley one, all those other teams have to not pick any points up as well. Like, they've all got to... Burnley has to win all the games whilst all the other teams are losing. Like,
to be fair, some of those games are against each other. So... They have a hand in some of them. So some of those are going to be 6-pointers, if you get me. Like if Burnley would beat a Forest, for example. I agree with what you're saying. I think the number of points needed versus the amount of games left, I do think Burnley go down. Yeah. But there's an outside chance, maybe.
Yeah, there is definitely a small chance. But if I had to put money on it, I would say it's like 99% sure that I would say Burnley's going down.
Yes, I agree. I think West Ham might claw their way out, you know. Really,
no, I've said that. I think West Ham's coming out of it, and I actually think Spurs are the team that's getting relegated.
I'm starting to really believe that. See, with the fixtures they have is crazy.
I've said this for a little while now, and I'd stand by it.
Just if we go to the predictions for a little second, Dave Boy said... Right, let's go back. Where's my screen? Share this tab. So Liverpool, West Ham. I reckon draw. You reckon Liverpool win. Dave Boy reckons West Ham win 3-2, which again, I don't think is impossible. Gary's gone off the two of us. Sorry, Gary. Wills reckons 3-0 Liverpool, so he agrees with you. Dave Boy reckons Virgil van Dijk is going to score 3 own goals twerking. So he therefore reckons a West Ham win.
That's interesting.
Gary says 3-1 Liverpool. Ray says West Ham 3-2. Need to see Spurs stress, which obviously is the Arsenal Spurs rivalry alive and well. Wills reckons Forest are going to get relegated. I don't know, because Pereira and Marinakis have worked together before, so that could end up being quite a good pairing for them. But from that, the majority have gone with a Liverpool win. So while I don't agree with it, we shall pop it in because democracy. Newcastle, Everton. I don't think this is going to be an easy match. Everton gave us a really good go.
I would completely disagree with what you're saying here. For one simple reason.
Go on.
The T-Rex man himself, Jordan Pickford. I am not going to lie. His head goes out of the window whenever this fixture comes, especially at St. James's Park. You are going to see a plethora of inflatable T-Rexes in the goal standing behind him, screaming at him. This man is going to be in the bin, and we are going to easily beat them 4-0. 4-0.
Oh my God.
4-0. And then, do you know what? To top it all off, Jordan Pickford's going to come out to collect a corner, and he's going to score an own goal.
What is it that makes him lose his head so against you?
Well, it's because he's obviously a Sunderland fan. He's a Mackham.
Yeah, but I mean, he should still be able to do his job.
No, he can't. He gets abused by the Geordies, because the thing is, he gives it to the Geordie fan base as well. So
okay, so it's a two-way system.
Yeah, but the thing is, because he gets and gives the slating, he ends up coming off normally on the bad side of it. He gets to his head quite a lot.
What I will say is, to be fair, Jordan Pickford is one of their best players. He's normally sensational, and he does keep them in a lot of matches they would otherwise lose. So if he does lose his head, I could definitely see that being the cause of them losing a match, because he does keep them in matches. Like, he was saving all sorts against us.
Yeah, that is the one thing of why I say it, is because Everton's a good team. However, a lot of it does boil down to Jordan Pickford. And like I said, he cannot hold his head against Newcastle. So, yeah.
So you reckon 4-0 to Newcastle. My prediction that I wrote down earlier, before I knew of the phenomenon of Jordan Pickford against Newcastle, I put Newcastle 2-1. So I did still have yous to win, to be fair. I just didn't think it was going to be easy, because
I will say,
I don't think Everton have been a walkover this season.
We went to Everton and we beat them 4-1.
That's quite good, isn't it?
That was when we were away at Everton as well.
Do you know what, though, Ash? I think this is something that maybe needs to be talked about, because I can't quite wrap my head around it. Jack Grealish, from he's been injured, they have been playing quite well, because he was doing so well before he was injured. He was a big part of their team, and I thought they would really struggle without him until he came back, because he's done for quite a while. He had an operation and all. But like, obviously, their last 2 games have been losses. One of them was against us. And I mean, they played very well. Even though they lost, they played very well. And they had us absolutely sweating at the end of it. But I mean, they're in 9th. They are doing well in the season, better than I expected. Again, I would have had yourselves and Crystal Palace above them, and probably Brighton, really. I would have had them down the lower end, kind of 14th, 15th or so. They're doing really well.
Yeah. You're not wrong. They are. They're doing a lot better than probably what a lot of people thought they would. But
yeah,
they've obviously lost 2 on the bounce. And I think Newcastle, they've just come. I know obviously the form, if you go off the league table, isn't too great. However, we've actually, like, if you go from that win, we won 3 away games on the bounce.
Yeah.
Obviously the FA Cup and the Champions League.
Yeah.
So we are in a bit of form, and now we've qualified to the next round of the Champions League. The players will have seen that there's a very good draw there. I think there's going to be a lot of confidence in the Newcastle side.
A bit of like a mental boost.
Yeah, so I think we're going to start seeing a bit of uptick form. And obviously, those losses that we had before there was part of that really terrible run of form that we had.
Yeah, you did have a real bad patch there. Like,
yes,
when you look at it there, all the red, it really doesn't look good. But as you say, there's so much kind of around of it. Now, Ray says 1-1 for this one. So let us go back to this screen so we can see it properly. So Ray reckons 1-1. Gary says 1-0 Everton. He's gone right off us.
I think he's just pissed off.
He's had enough of us. Wills reckons 3-1 Newcastle. Dave Boy reckons 4-1 Newcastle. So it looks like we're going with an emphatic Newcastle win because there's 3 is saying it. So I reckon we're going with 4-1 Newcastle because I saw quite a few 4s in there. Gary's having a good giggle. And Ray says Pickford is going to score with his giant head.
In his own goal.
Sky Cliffy says, if Forest gets relegated, we can get Anderson for a lot cheaper. That's true. And that's the thing people are starting to think about now is the relegated teams. Who are they gonna?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't agree with that.
No,
because every team's still going to be in for Elliot Anderson, which is going to drive the price up.
Yeah, there's still going to be competition.
It's not about because he's in the Premier League. Everyone knows his quality, so everyone's going to be in for him. And I don't see him going from anywhere below 80 million at a minimum. I think he could easily go for over 100 mil.
I do think, to be fair, it's like when, like, say you're at an auction and there's a lot being bid on, it doesn't matter. Like, if there's enough people participating in the bidding, the price goes up regardless. So I do agree. I kind of agree with your stance on it. That would be my thought process as well. And Flossie says Marinakis will want top money for him. That's true. He's not going to sell anything cheap. And he's very much in control. So that brings us to Leeds, Manchester City. And I went for lots of goals in this one. And I went Man City 3-2.
What? Okay.
Yeah, I was feeling lots of goals in this one. It's the first one where I went like big goals. Yeah, so 3-2 I said to Manchester City. Just went for it.
I'm gonna say 3-1. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin does score. He's looking very, very, very good. Like I said, I saw him the other day. He looked very much on it. So yeah, I would say 3-1. Okay, Gary says 3-2 straight away. So yeah, I think there's going to be a fair few people. I think it helps. It's obviously at Elland Road. Leeds are in a bit of form at the moment. They've got a lot. The crowd and the fan base is very much behind them. They've got some very good players. So yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Like you see there, they've only got one loss in the last 5 games. I know, granted, they've got quite a few draws. But nevertheless, it's still
one loss out of 5. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's pretty good. And the win was the one against Nottingham Forest. Who were the draws? Like, they drew Chelsea
and Villa.
And they've drawn Villa. Like, do you know what I mean? There's 2 teams up there that they've drawn against. So
that's what I mean. I think
they're like win, draw.
Yeah. So I would say 3-1 City. But if Leeds somehow nick a result out of this, and it's like a 1-0 or a 2-1 to Leeds, I could honestly see that as well.
What do you reckon that means? Because I think City will nick it. I do. I think City will nick it. That's why I put 3-2. I think Leeds will put up a fight. I think Leeds will score. I think Leeds will give a good account of themselves. I think it'll be a great atmosphere. But I think City will win.
Yeah, I do think City will win.
If we say in the scenario that maybe it's a draw, because as you say, it's at Elland Road and Leeds will fight. They will, because for me, Leeds are just outside the relegation battle. They're far enough away that I don't think they're going to get drawn into it. And I think they will finish above all of the teams they're currently above. They might even overtake Brighton. So I don't think they're going to go back into it, but they'll want to maintain the kind of trajectory they're on. So in the circumstance that it's a draw, that would obviously have an impact at the top. What do you reckon? I reckon both teams are going to drop points. And I think it's going to change every week. I think this conversation every week is now going to change because I think both teams will drop points. I don't think either of them are going to consistently win all the way.
No way. This is not Man City of the previous seasons. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I think this game is in City's hands. I think City will win this. However, like I said, there's very much a world that I can see somehow they dropping points. And if they do, like I said, I still envisage this title race going is that EFL Cup final. I still think it all depends on that. Whichever team wins that, I think wins the league. Right now, it's still in City's favour for the league. So I will still say City's going to win the league. However, it's
on Arsenal.
It's up and down.
I'm still on Arsenal because at the moment they're at the top. That's my thing is, yes, we've seen them bottle it before multiple times. Yes, they've clearly allowed the lead to close a bit. But at the end of the day, they are the team on the top. Therefore, for me, it's theirs to lose because as if we were to end the league today and hand out the trophies, it's theirs. They would win the trophy. Therefore, it's theirs to lose, is my thinking. But I'm curious because I agree with you. I don't believe this is the Manchester City of previous seasons. Now, what I will say, in their last match, we did see the killer instinct that I thought had been missing for a large part of the season, basically all of this season, and quite a sizable chunk of last season. It was the first time probably in a season and a half where I saw City actually look like City. They looked like they were in for the kill. They looked dangerous. It was genuinely the first time I've seen them like that in a long time. But I would have to wonder if Leeds managed to get a draw out of them at Elland Road, I think that would really shake them.
I think it would do. Like I said, I would be surprised if it happens, but not at the same time. I do think I think if it happens, it will potentially shake some of the players.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen, though. I do think Man City's going to win. But we'll see. Like I said, games like this is games that they have to win. Same with Arsenal. Yeah, but they both have to win against teams like that are lower down in the Premier League. Because if say a team like them loses to like a Man United, Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool, you can excuse that because of how good the other teams actually are as well. It's a good high level of competition. They've got to be beating Leeds, and if they don't, it will have an impact on the title. So yeah, they need to win it.
100%. I'm just going to refresh this because it doesn't update the score automatically. So if anything happens, it doesn't tell me.
Don't worry, I'll let you know if it goes.
Thank you, my dear. So let me see what the gang are saying. Not a cult. Just on what we were saying previously, Dave Boy says Anderson will go to City, or if Tonali goes home, maybe to Newcastle. So obviously there's potential that Tonali, all that kind of rumours with his agent and shit. And I kind of think maybe he would be more likely to go home than anywhere else if he leaves Newcastle, which to be honest, I don't actually think is likely in the slightest. But if he does, maybe Anderson to you guys is probably an interesting shout. Wills also said on Forest, getting relegated will mean they need more money, not less. So actually, it might bump the price up a little bit. But in terms of the score predictions for this match, let me change back over to the right tab. Gary says 3-2 to City, Will says 3-1 to City. Dave Boy says 2-0 to City. Ray says 2-1 to City. It appears to be unanimous in City's favour. So I reckon that means we're probably looking at, what's the most there, Ash? Was there a lot of 3s, a lot of 2s?
A lot of 3s.
A lot of 3s. So let's go with 3. I'm giving Leeds 2 because I just reckon they'll fight them tooth and nail, especially at home.
Okay. I don't mind that. I think it's going to be a good game to watch. It's good.
I hope so. Harold is back. In January, I said Villa would struggle in the second half of the season. They are getting 6th in the Premier League. FYI, Man United get 3rd. Me and Harold are very much on the same wavelength here. Very much so. I agree with you, Harold. Dave Boy, I said bottled it, and we have said we're not going to say bottled anymore. We're going to say fumbled. If they fumble, because I like that word. It was a good word. We discussed that in the group chat the other day, the word fumble. I like it. And I proposed it to Anton. Anton was on the show, Ash. Anton was on the channel. We had a good old chat, a good old chin wag, me and Anton. And we've agreed fumble is less offensive than bottle. Bottle just sounds quite violent. Fumbling is a bit more like, he's a silly Billy. Do you know just that kind of a way? Yeah, just a little fumble. You know yourself. But that brings us to Brighton versus Nottingham Forest. Now, we absolutely slandered Brighton and then they went and won. I did a whole video on their manager, how terrible their form had been. 1 win in 14 or something. They've now 2 wins in 15. The bugger went and won. I did a whole video just on him and then they went and won. Raging. Absolutely raging. I've nothing against Brighton, but it was literally right after I did the video. I was like, you cheeky little sod. But obviously, Nottingham Forest are fighting for their future in the Premier League. Vitor Pereira won his first game. Obviously, it was in the Cup. 3-0 they won. And obviously, they lost their last Premier League match. But to me, I genuinely believe they should have got something out of that match. I think some of the decisions offside in that match were disgraceful. And I do mean disgraceful, Ash. I was furious on their behalf. I am not counting that as a loss against them. The Premier League can do what they like. I think it was absolutely shameful. So, to me, they gave Liverpool a real good run for their money, and they should have won, let alone got a draw out of it, if I'm being totally honest with you. I think they beat Brighton, and I have put in my prediction 1-0 to Forest.
I was going to say 1-1.
Fair.
I think it's going to be a draw, just because it's at Brighton. I know, I agree with what you're saying about the decisions that they had the other day. It was terrible, but again, all boils down to the fact PGMOL has been absolutely dog shit the entire season, and somehow they're getting worse. I don't really understand how this is happening.
They're getting worse. Genuinely, as the season goes on, the worse they're getting. It's terrible.
Since VAR came in, there was a bit of an uptick. I think it looked a bit better because referees were competent because they could still referee the game. And then VAR was there used. And I know there was decisions that they still got wrong, but I feel like as it's gone on, referees are they're just not reffing the game anymore. They're just relying on VAR and it's just creating issues. And then when VAR is even doing questionable offsides all the time, I'm not a fan of the way football's going at the moment. They need to have a bit of an overhaul. Do a 5-10 centimeter line for offside, make it a bit more attacker bias. I don't know. We just need to do a bit more changing. But I still think Forest 1-1 is going to be a draw, just because it's, like I said, it's away at Brighton.
Fair enough. I believe my suggestion when I did my match reaction for that was to burn the rule book and start over, because they've broken it so badly. I don't think they can fix it from this point. Therefore, they just literally need to start over because they've mucked it right up.
It's crazy though. I feel like every single week it's similar sort of shit. We're just talking about it in multiple games. It's Newcastle. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like we've had nearly every single week for the past few weeks dreadful decisions.
Yeah. Yous have had some. If I was you, my head would have combusted at this point, because yous have had some horrific decisions, and I do mean horrific.
Yeah. You just get used to it at this point. Like when you live amongst the shit, you no longer smell it. You know, it's just all we're used to seeing and dealing with. So there needs to be a massive overhaul. New people in charge as well. We need to overhaul everything.
Do you see when something like that is so out of touch, when it's so bad so consistently? Sometimes I think the only way,
you need to go top down.
That's the way I see it. Flossie is saying VAR is going to be looking at second yellow cards and a 5-second limit for throw-ins and goal kicks now. I have said for quite some time, I think VAR should be looking at second yellow cards. At the end of the day, if they look at red cards, why would they not look at a second yellow, which is essentially a red card? I think that's mental. I could never understand why they would... Why? So they can look at straight reds, but not a second yellow to a red. It has the same impact on the game. Therefore, it should be looked at the same. And actually, we've seen a number of those incorrectly given or not given. So I think if there's anything they can do, that's I agree with that. I think 5 seconds is a bit ridiculous. I understand they don't want the long throws where you're cleaning the ball and it takes 6 lifetimes and then you do the build up. But so I agree with a time limit. I think 5 seconds is a bit mental.
Yeah.
It would be I think they're going too far on the wrong things. But back to our score prediction. You reckon a draw. I reckon a Forest win, although I do think a draw is entirely possible. Ray reckons 2-0 to Forest. Dave Boy reckons 2-1 to Forest. Wills reckons 2-0 to Brighton. Gary says a Brighton 2-1, I hope, because obviously for Spurs, they need Nottingham Forest to keep doing badly. So that is in the chat. We have 2 for Forest,
so Forest
2
win
for Brighton, and I'm Forest. So that would be Forest win. So I reckon, since it is all 12 nil. Since it's all pretty close, I reckon 1-0 is probably about right, because it's a bit mixed across the board, so not much in it. Flossie says, I think VAR should be looking at all the head injuries that happen when they've been hit on the shoulder. I agree. I think VAR should get involved in simulation, because simulation is wrecking the game. It's wrecking the game.
Do you know the thing that I'm most fed up about simulation?
Go on.
A player will go down and dive. The referee will give the challenge the other way. Yes. So he's like, he said, you've dove, and then not give a yellow card. And I'm like, where is any sort of consistency that you're saying that he has literally dove? You're saying it's simulation, but not giving a yellow card for that. So what are we doing here?
No, I agree. 100% agree. It's very frustrating because, as you say, it's the consistency, because they started off the season giving them out, and then all of a sudden they just decided they weren't going to anymore. Yep. That's like, it's very, very, very frustrating. Really, it actually does my head in.
They need to give cards for simulation, because it's the only thing that stops simulation from happening.
100%.
If you don't give cards for simulation, it'll just carry on happening.
I don't know how they haven't figured that out, though. Like, surely they know that at this point.
I don't know. They just need to sort themselves out, to be honest.
That's true. And that's I saw Wells had a good comment there. Another example of subjective rules. 100%. And Gary, correct. The cards depend on the club. And I actually think even further than that, they depend on the specific player. I think very much so in the clubs, but also on the specific player. I reckon and I think this is a really good example. You take Bernardo Silva out of Man City, you make him play for any other team in the league, I guarantee you he's getting suspended every couple of matches for.
I mean, holy shit! Did you not see the flipping challenge he done, Dan Burn?
I did.
Like he dove off the ground, head first into him, looking away from the ball. Like that.
The amount of times Bernardo Silva, he does my head in.
I'm sorry, but the fact Man City won 2-1 on that game was so disgusting to me from some of the stuff that happened. But like I said, I'm at the point now where I'm just used to these piss shit decisions, and
they're not getting any better anyway. Yeah, and Flossie says there he gets away with so much. I know, certainly I see when we play them, I actually genuinely, obviously I don't hate him as a person because I don't know him as a person. As a football player, I hate him. He does my absolute, I hate playing him. If he plays for any other team in the league, I guarantee you he's getting all sorts of other cards. Guaranteed. So I do agree with what Gary is saying there as well. But let's move on because we'll only annoy ourselves. We're talking about Brighton versus Forest, and somehow I got us onto Bernardo Silva. I don't know how I've done that. Fulham versus Spurs. This is going to be interesting. So there's Fulham above you guys on 37 points. How did Fulham were in 10th. But so there's Fulham. And obviously then we've got Spurs down there fighting not to drop into the relegation zone. They've got their new manager. To be fair, his first game was the North London derby. So I'm not sure that's a fair representation of how the rest of his tenure is going to go. And as we've discussed, he is a crisis specialist. Did you see some of the comments he came out with after the match?
I didn't, but I watched the game, and I'm not going to lie, Spurs did not look good in that game.
I'll tell you what, wait till I see this. I'm probably not allowed to play it. I'm probably not allowed to play it because they keep copyrighting me. Every time I do anything, I show anything, they're like copyrighting me. So I have to just not show anything. They're doing my head in. You've been copyright. Your video has a copyright. Your video. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's a still image. Calm yourself down.
I know, there
was a point, and I'm going to do a semi-reenactment. My clothes don't match, so I do apologize for this, right? But here he is on the side of the pitch, right? So I'm him, and here he is. He's like, come on up the pitch, right? And the players are like, what? Did you say something? Like, honestly, I don't know if you could hear anything I was saying there, but genuinely, I felt so sorry for him. And then he come out after it and he was like, Flossie, it wasn't from Sky. It wasn't from Sky. It's stuff off X. It's stuff off X from like the foreign channels. It's not even from Sky. So they're just if it looks like anything remotely like footage, they're copyrighting it. But I think they tried to. Do you know the Arteta Pep thing that I showed you? I think they tried to copyright that at one point, and I was like, appeal. That's definitely not real footage. But my thing is, when you have him on the sideline clearly giving them instructions, and they are absolutely clearly ignoring his instructions, can you imagine? He doesn't seem like the type of man who's going to take that very well. I feel like when he got into that dressing room afterwards, it might have been a bit of the Marinakis effect. He might have locked them in the changing room and gives them a dressing down. And
I hope so.
I hope so. And you know what the thing is? A lot of managers, when they come in, they're hoping. So say with Carrick, he's come in knowing it's a temporary position, but he's hoping that it's going to turn into a permanent position. So he's hoping to maybe keep the players on side so that they'll vouch for him. This guy, he knows he has no intention of staying. He never stays anywhere. He doesn't want to stay. He doesn't need the players on side. He can literally come in and do whatever the hell he wants and say whatever the hell he wants and annoy whoever the hell he wants. because he doesn't want to stay. He wants it to be a temporary position because that's what he does everywhere he goes. And I think that changes how he can behave. Because if you're hoping it's going to be permanent, you're going to behave differently than, I don't care, I'm leaving anyway. So if I break the boat, that's five. That's fine. Now, Ray, I think, is being slightly dramatic here and says Tudor has already lost the dressing room. You can't lose something you never had. And also, I don't think he's lost the dressing room. I think the dressing room is lost. I think the players are lost. I think it's a madhouse. But actually, I think he is in the best position of anybody who was out there to do anything that's possible to be done, because I think he cares less than them, if you get what I mean. He doesn't need them to like him. So I think he probably will have absolutely lost the plot completely. And I'd be very interested if they respond to his gestures from the sideline in this next match. Because that's how we'll know. Is he going to make any difference at all? Because he came out and he basically said, I don't understand what the values of this club are. Nobody is bothering their backside.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I feel like Spurs have been in the shitter for the past few years. They need to buckle up their ideas. And that's why I said I was quite surprised when they got Tudor in, because I thought they would have had a manager that's got a bit more conviction about him. Because obviously, I mean, he's a bit of an unknown factor that not many people in the UK know about him. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's going to be interesting to see how it is. They need to react and buckle up their ideas, otherwise they are going down.
Mm-hmm. Well, Flossie there is saying Kate, obviously off the lovely Kate and Jimbo, said the players weren't ignoring him, yet everything I've seen they are. Well, I watched the footage of him screaming at them and then them not doing it. So they were definitely ignoring him. I can understand Spurs fans wanting to feel positive and maybe not think that about their players, but absolutely 100% correct. Like, they definitely ignored him 100%. I don't think that can be argued, unfortunately, for Spurs fans. Dave Boy says he's only been there 5 minutes. He hasn't found the dressing room yet. Wills is saying maybe he isn't good at shouting. You'll see him with a megaphone in the next game. Ray says there's rumours Spurs are considering sacking him, though it could just be social media nonsense. I would hazard a guess that is social media. Woohoo!
On the 97th minute, it's
go Wolves.
7+ minutes. They've scored on the final minute.
Okay, I'm very excited by this. Very excited. Let's refresh. So view this. No, I've clicked the wrong thing. Oh, you can see that already. I just need to refresh it. I didn't know what tab I was sharing, and I lost the run of myself because you said that Wolves scored again. 2-0. Excellent work. Just Gomez.
Yeah, he scored both. The other Gomez.
I was like, how has he done that now? But it's the other Gomez. that really threw me. Yeah, well done. Good job, Wolves. Well done. So that's 2 of my predictions going well. That Villa are going to drop out of the top 5 and that Wolves were going to win tonight. I am sensational. Absolutely sensational. That's it. That's all my predictions. Done. And Wills is saying, go on, Wolves. What a result. Correct and right. I would reckon, back to Tudor, I think that is probably social media nonsense, being quite honest, Ray, because literally he's always hired. That's his job. He's hired to be a specialist in crises. He's never going to be permanent. So what you'll get is people will come along in the summer and they'll say, oh, he's going to be sacked. He's not going to be sacked. He's never intended to be there beyond the summer. So he won't be sacked. He will just be finished his contract and move on to his next crisis, if you get what I mean. But I do. I think he'll have given them a right dressing down. I think he'll have absolutely gone hardcore on them because he's nothing to lose. Because he's going anywhere. He's no intention of staying. So I reckon we will actually see a reaction in Spurs in this match.
I really hope so for Spurs' sake, because if it's gonna tell a lot. It means they've appointed the right person. Because like I said, I feel like there's a lot of question marks over him.
And to be fair, Fulham I know they've 2 wins, but they've 3 losses in their last 5 as well. It's not as if they're on fire. Do you know what I mean? They're doing well in the table, but they're not on flying form.
Yeah.
I reckon Spurs are going to win this. What did I put earlier in my thing? I put 1-0 to Spurs is what I put in my wee predictions. So what do you reckon?
2-1 Fulham.
Okay. Gary says if he loses the next 4 games, he will be gone. Well, that's fair, but I don't think he will lose all 4 of them. I genuinely believe he can win this one against Fulham. Right, lads, I have to scroll up because you have done your score predictions for this one, and then we went off on a wee ramble. Wills said 1-1. Gary said 3-1 to Spurs. Dave Boy says, sorry, Gary, 3-1 to Fulham. Ray says 1-0 to Fulham. So, God, everybody's saying Fulham. So, me and Gary are the only ones that went for Spurs. Everybody else went for Fulham.
Yeah,
and then Wills went with a draw.
I do think Fulham. I think Fulham's just been quite good this season. They've kind of gone a bit under the radar.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so Fulham win it is. Ash, what score? Because it's very mixed. So whatever you reckon.
I said 2-1.
So let's go 2-1. I would just like to note, Gary, I'm with you on this one. Okay, so Ray is saying, yeah, if that's what he meant, if the rumors are if he keeps losing, they'll sack him before the end of the season. Well, to be fair, if they keep losing, he's going to get them relegated. So it wouldn't shock me, but I don't see that scenario. I don't see that scenario.
Personally, I really fucking don't understand the whole thing, because at the end of the day, they've got a very good chance in the Champions League. They need someone to get them out of relegation. They just needed to get a good manager to do an actual good charge of stuff. And
I understand their thinking. I do, because I get what you're saying, but that's the thing. They needed somebody to get them out of relegation. This guy specializes in crisis.
That's what I mean. So what they've done is they've wrote off the Champions League, which I think is the wrong thing to do.
I think if they have to choose between not being relegated or doing well in the Champions League, I would also choose not being relegated.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you know, like, obviously people want the Champions League, clearly. But I mean, first of all, they're unlikely to win the Champions League in the first place. But also, I reckon, I know it's straight in here. He's celebrating Wolves, Chelsea 3rd place confirmed, and he would also like to say big up to everyone. He's here in time for the last 2 predictions, line notes. But yeah, I understand their thinking. I understand, yes, obviously you want to do well in the Champions League, but their priority has to be staying in the Premier League. Their priority has to be not getting relegated. And I think that's exactly what this guy is for. Now, if he doesn't do it, he's going to ruin his rep as a crisis manager, because that'll be in the bin. But that brings us to United versus Crystal Palace. I think Oliver Glasner is doing everything in his power, everything humanly possible to be sacked. Actually, I can play this footage for you because it's a press conference and apparently I'm allowed to show those because those ones never get
Copyrighted.
That is the word. Sorry, I saw a picture of Onana and it actually just gave me shivers. Look, wait till I show you this. Now, this is not what we're talking about, but let me just show it to you. Andre Onana wants to fight to re-establish himself as the MUFC #1 when his season's loan at Trabzonspor finishes in May. He believes he will be given a chance to do so. And I think this image is apt. He will not be given the chance to do so. He will never be the #1 keeper again. And even if he wasn't incredibly terrible at being a keeper, Senne Lammens is sensational. He is absolutely incredible. In fact, Senne Lammens, let me get this for you. Because it's where is he? Now, here's a good one. So Senne Lammens has the best saves, the most saves per 90 of any keeper in the Premier League. So let me see. I shared this the other day on the stream. Where did it go? Where did it go? Go. I've lost it, but he does because I read it. So it's just not happening. It's absolutely not happening. And just to show another one, and this is just, obviously we were talking about Everton there not long ago. There's Lammens after the absolute wrestling match we had against, I have to say that I was getting pretty frustrated with the way they were. I think the rules need to be changed. The keeper is being impeded. Impeded and nothing was done. But Senne Lammens, given what was happening in that box, made first contact with 5 corners versus Everton. No goalkeeper has had more first contacts in a single Premier League game this season. So he is already saving more goals per 90 than any other keeper in the Premier League, and he has now had more first contacts in a single Premier League game this season than any other keeper. And Onana believes he is going to come back and he is going to be Man United's first team keeper ever. The man is completely and utterly insane. He's lost the plot. Ash genuinely lost it.
I think everyone knows that's not happening. Unless if Lammens has an absolute howler for the rest of the season, there's no chance that is happening.
I think Onana believes it. I'm not even being funny. I genuinely think this man means what he's saying. He's insane.
I am not too sure why.
I don't know why either, but he's absolutely nuts. This is it, right? This was what the corners were like. Let me show you. This was the corners.
Yeah, I mean,
That's seen. What like.
This is what's been happening for a fair while with corners. They just.
I have to say, right? Don't get me wrong. I know Arsenal has been doing it a bit, okay, and they have been doing it a bit. I have not seen anything like what Everton were doing. Yeah. I mean, it was levels.
Do you know what? It just reminded me, Lou. I just wanted to ask you about this because we never really, we didn't touch on really much of the Man City Newcastle game. What did you think of the push? Because you're about rule changes and stuff. Do you know when
pushing him offside?
The push on Dan Burn that made him be offside?
Fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Completely and utterly ridiculous. I did my reaction after the things. I looked at the push. I looked at the offside. I looked at all of kind of the weekend decisions as one. I think I sat for about 15 or 20 minutes just ranting about how terrible the rules are.
Because obviously he got shoved offside, which people have been showing. Apparently, if a player pushes someone offside into an offside position, it doesn't get classed as offside. I've also seen that obviously the Bernardo Silva tackle that should have been at least a second yellow, if not a straight red itself. But
Yeah.
A second yellow would have been a red. There's definitely a lot of issues because the thing is, right, so it wouldn't have been a red card for the Dan Burn one, if it's the Dan Burn one you're referring to, because he was inside the box. So it would have been, because of DOGSO, it would have been, if they were given it as a foul, it would be a penalty and a yellow card. But
no, but it's directly written into the rules. If the player is in an offside position because they've been pushed there, then it's not considered an offside goal. You have to retake the whatever the set piece was in the first place. I mean, it's quite literally like written. Some of the rules are very grey. This was an incredibly clear rule. If you're offside because you were pushed, you're not offside. I mean, I don't know how they could get that one wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a fair few decisions in that game that kind of has pissed me off, and I know I was getting a lot of Arsenal fans say like being really annoyed about it, and I know there's been some YouTubers that have been calling it out, saying that Arsenal's been robbed, but I have made it very evidently clear Arsenal also won 2-1 against Newcastle when they should have had Gabriel and stuff sent off for in Voltemada off the ball, who stayed on the pitch when we were 1-0 and ended up getting the last goal. It's
what I will say.
There's decisions that are going for every team, apart from Newcastle. We don't get fuck all.
No, yous have had some terrible decisions. What I will say is, actually, I asked Anton about this when he was on the stream, and I didn't tell him who had done these videos. I said that I had seen some videos discussing the Newcastle and Man City game, and the titles of those videos were referencing Arsenal being robbed, even though Arsenal weren't playing in the match and it was Manchester City versus Newcastle. And would he consider that Arsenal being robbed or Newcastle being robbed? And to be fair to him, as an Arsenal fan, an avid Arsenal fan, he said, no, that's a nonsense. It was Newcastle that were robbed. And he couldn't understand why somebody would name their video about Arsenal when Arsenal weren't in the match. So what I will say is, I think maybe some of the people that are pushing that aren't actual Arsenal fans, and then Arsenal fans are getting it. Now, there's definitely some of them out there. I'm not saying there's not, but I do also think sometimes creators bring on things to Arsenal that actual Arsenal fans don't think themselves. I personally would be my take.
I just think it's absolutely mad to make videos about stuff like that when it's a robbery on a different team. That's
the titles are crazy.
That's the reason why I said I thought it was a bit crazy, was because Arsenal also probably should not have won the game that played against us, which would have, by that logic, is a robbery on City. But when you actually think about it, both of these games was a robbery on Newcastle. And that just gets pushed to the side. It's
yous have been robbed left, right, and centre, and yous are the only team not getting talked about. I agree with you. But let me see what the guys are saying. Oh my God, there's some mental predictions. We're going to have to redo the scores because people have been saying mad stuff. Ray has filled his teacup and reckons Palace are going to win 6-0. So we definitely going to have to redo some of them scores. What are we saying? I know to saying to Wills, if it was about my feelings, you would be already relegated. Big game, big pressure. We can get something. 3-1 to the mighty Chelsea or 1-1 is all kicked off in the chat. Dave Boy says, I'd love to see Onana back in the Premier League, preferably playing for Liverpool, which is fair. Very fair. I know, who's obviously a Chelsea fan, says, Lawmans is a great goalkeeper. Bring back Onana. Which, look, obviously, Lawmans is doing something right when the rivals want rid of him. Dane has joined the chat. Welcome, Dane. He says, hi, both of you. Come on, you Gunners. I don't know what it is about me as a Manchester United fan, but I believe I have more Arsenal fans in my chat than any other team. And I don't understand it. Now, to be fair, I have a really lovely mix. I have some United, I have some Newcastle, I have some Chelsea, I have some. The only one I don't really have is Liverpool. Aaron obviously is Liverpool and he pops in. Sometimes the Sam sticks his head in. We don't have a lot of Liverpool and I don't think of any City. But I've got some Spurs. Sachin is Middlesbrough, isn't it? We do have a lovely, lovely mix. But I definitely think I've more Arsenal fans than anybody else. I don't understand how I've managed it. But you're all very welcome here. We play nicely on this channel for the most part, sometimes. iNote says, we haven't seen Onana under Carrick, to be fair, Lou. There's nothing fair about it. He's not coming back, and that's the end of it. I've put my foot down, pal. Dave Boy says that video I was showing looked like a Saturday night in Newcastle when the pubs kick everyone out. And Wills is saying to iNotes, Carrick is a good coach, but he's not a magician. He's not a magician. Let me see. What are we saying? Oh, Ray was saying the push denied a clear goal scoring opportunity. I think because of the way the law is written, you retake the set piece. So that's what it would go back to. Let me see. Ray says Joe Linton on Gabriel cost us the title, Ash. So he's coming back at you. He's having none of your nonsense. Dane, I believe, might be an Arsenal fan because he says Arsenal champions. So he's putting it out there. Ray says the Arsenal invasion. And Dane also says, come on, Harry Wilson. Ash is chasing away the Chelsea fans. Sorry, I nearly died. Sachin is City. Did Sachin not tell us he was Middlesbrough and that's how he knew so much about Carrick? I'm like 100% sure that's what he told us. Am I thinking of somebody else? I'm sure that was Sachin. There's so many of yous now at that stage. I can't keep up. Dane. We're keeping Dane, lads. He's sticking around. He says, you're honest. That's why I like listening to you. Well, thank you very much, Dane. I do my best. Even if we don't always agree, you'll always know it's my genuine opinion. I'll never just say it for like a reaction. If I've said it, it's because it's what I actually think, even if it's a bit mental. And Luke says, come on the hoops. Flossie's saying, come on the Jers. Do you know what? The Jers is the name of a local GA team here, a Gaelic football team. The Jers, they're a local team here. Quite a good team. They win a lot. So that's quite interesting. And Flossie's not impressed with Luke. So obviously that's some sort of rivalry. Right. Let's get out of the wrestling match. And do you know what? This is why I shouldn't actually be allowed on X. Because I come in to find something about Oliver Glasner and look at the absolute turn. I veered away over there. And we were so on track. And I've just lost the run of us. Now, oh, that was loud. Right. Now, I cannot show you this footage. This is also not Glasner, but I'm going to... We're nearly there. This is Tudor. So let me see. Let me show you. Right. Now, I can't play this because they will have a conniption. Okay? But now watch. Right. So he's here clearly gesticulating. Look at the face. Like, what do you want? Right? Now watch this. So did you see that? Gesture. And look, he literally turns his back and walks away. Nobody can tell me that is not ignoring the manager. And according to Dev here, since when did it become acceptable to just blatantly ignore your manager's instructions? You are getting paid millions and you're in a relegation battle. Spurs are actually in the mud. So for anybody who is in doubt, he absolutely did have the players ignoring him. 100%. Disastrous. But this is the one. Oh, but you should wait a minute. The man was shouting before I told him it was ready to go. So let me. Okay, I gotta click this. Mister, calm yourself. This man wants to get sacked. He wants to get fired from my show. Flossie, That's a great question. Flossie wants to know what Vinny has been saying. Vinny Grappa. So let's do that. I am going to play
VG.
VG. We love VG. Right.
Fiji.
Fiji. We love him. Right. Vinny Grappa. Where's my friend? Vincenzo, my friend. What has he been saying? What has he been saying? Let's have a look. Because I don't know. I've actually not checked him out in a little while. He's getting tagged in a lot of stuff, but I actually just want to see him. He's talking about Amorim, young egotistical corporate leaders, and there's a picture of Ruben Amorim. I'm not even reading all of that. What the man loves it. Right. He's talking about wealthy clubs. He's talking about Madonna. Honestly, this man is unbelievable. He's talking about the Hill Dickinson. Let me see. Somebody else agrees. So Mozzie put on one of his posts, just gotta say, Vinny, the way you sign off with VG is so cool. Just do charismatic, keep up the good work. See, I agree with that. I just love it, VG. Right, now this is nothing related to anything we've been talking about, okay? Can we see him? No, not right. Now, somebody posted this, okay? Blah, blah, blah. And his response is, I call this type of blue tick guff wage bait. VG. Honestly, I love him. I love him so much. Right, what else has he got? Oh, don't you play that. Don't play. They'll do me. So Vinny says, to the day we rid our game of the hype hysteria and hyperbole of both the corporates running the game and the media narrating it, some of us just want to watch football with reasonable appreciation of it, pals. VG. And he's sharing the Sene Laman's unbelievable goalkeeping display. VG loves Sene Laman's, and we love VG. What else has he been saying? He's all sorts of mad stuff on here. He's a lunatic. Good morning.
What is half of this stuff?
He's unreal. Good morning from the sports desk, pals. VG. Oh, kitty cat. Chortle, VG. Honestly, he's just so we need to all follow VG because he's just phenomenal. But no, he hasn't shared anything crazy off late. What's he saying here? I probably can't play that either. Anything that looks like sports content and it plays, I can't show it. Essentially, but there you go. He's inside. Please qualify VG. He just makes my day. Honestly, he does. This is how I get distracted. Yes, VG. We love it. We love a bit of VG. But let's go back. Do you know what I might do? Ask him what he thinks of Glasner. I might just message him. I probably don't know if I can message him. He probably has to follow me back. I'm going to comment on his latest video and be like, what do you think of Oliver Glasner? So this is Oliver Glasner's latest press conference, which is almost as good as VG's X feed. So his latest quote is, I will always say what I think. I never disrespected anyone. The eyeballs. This is on the Sky Sports account.
That's crazy.
Eyeballs. So
the thing is, they know what they're doing. They know he's just chatting shit.
100%. Oliver Glasner reacts to the Crystal Palace fans unveiling a banner stating that Glasner is finished, following on from the Palace boss calling for supporters to be humble. Right, let's give him a listen. Because I can't with this man anymore.
Fans can express their opinion with banners, because otherwise they can't tell me. So, and it's completely fine that everybody can tell what he thinks, and I do the same. I tell what I say, what I think is the right, and the fans, yes, it's okay. But I will always say what I think, what I believe. I think I never disrespected anyone. This is where I disagree, because everybody who knows me knows that huge respect for everyone. Fans can express their.
When you listen to it, it's not quite as bad as some of his other ones because...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Flossie has killed me. Hit the like button, please, if you haven't done so. MF for Mama Flossie. I love it. I love it. Excellent, excellent. Sorry. Well done, Mama Flossie. You have to sign all your messages now, MF. And everyone in all the other channels is going to be like, has she lost the plot? Right. Sorry, Ash. Tell me what you think of Oliver Glasner. I'm gone.
I don't really know, to be honest. I just think he's just in the bin. This season just needs to be over for him, to be honest. He's being humble and telling fans to be certain ways. At the end of the day, I always think fans, they pay the money so they can behave how they want to behave. They see the football. They have the right for their own opinion. At the end of the day, the only thing that he can do is dictate how he should plays the game, and I think he needs to improve. So yes, I think he just needs to focus on himself, to be honest.
Honestly, though, I'm devastated when he goes because his press conferences, that one's not too bad. The last one where he compared them to his kids playing on a Sunday did me in.
Listen, you never know. Someone else might end up picking him up in the Prem.
Some crazy person.
Yeah.
But Gary is correct and right. We have, oh my God, Ash, we've been here for 2 hours and 49 minutes. Right, we need to cop ourselves on. Gary needs to go soon. It's late at night. It's 25 minutes past 10, Ash. Right. This is terrible. Lads, somebody needs to just sort me out. Right. We're going to start over because I can't actually scroll up that far. So before everybody has to go, because it's bedtime for us all, Man United, Crystal Palace, I know you have already put in your score predictions for this. Please do so again because there's so much has happened. We've been through a lot tonight, people. I reckon Man United 3-0 is my score prediction. Ash, what do you reckon?
I actually think 2-1 Crystal Palace.
You can't be serious.
I am not even joking. I genuinely think that.
Why? You have lost your mind. Why do you think that? Please explain to me why you think Crystal Palace is going to beat Man United.
I know Palace is doing it a lot worse than what people are thinking they should be at the moment, but they're also scoring in every game. They are actually scoring in every game, and I just think Man United are
currently on an unbeaten run.
Yes, exactly. You guys have been performing unbelievably, and I just think that it's not going to carry on. Like, I just feel like there's a point where it's got to stop. I just don't see you guys just keeping it up. And I feel like this game is going to be the game you guys drop some points in. Not because I don't think Man United is going to bounce back from it, because I think you guys will. But I just feel like this could be a game that actually just is a bit of a monkey, a bit of a banana skin for you.
Ray says the bubble has to pop at some point. So he's kind of with you. I'm taking you very seriously. What I'm not taking seriously is Ray saying 7-0, full teapot, or for Ray. And Flossie has responded with, love it, MF. I love this. I genuinely, not a cult, and everybody has to sign off with their initials. Excellent, excellent. Poor Nathan. Imagine Nathan was still here. We'd have the whole alphabet still. But I understand what you're saying. I just think you're incredibly wrong. So that's fair. But what do the chat think? So I noticed with you, he reckons 2-1 Crystal Palace. Gary says 2-0 United. Will says 2-0 United. Ray's lost the plot. Luke reckons 2-1 United. Dave Boy says 4-0 United. Lord Harry brace. Oliver's Army never win when they have just played in Europe. Good point, Dave Boy. And Dane says Gary is a Palace fan. No, Gary's a Spurs fan. So yeah. I think that is unanimous for United. Despite your best efforts, you and I notes, despite your best efforts, I do believe that is a win for United in the chat.
Yeah. But the reason why I say that is just because of the fact I just don't see you guys being able to constantly keep this up. The bubble's got to pop at some point.
I don't think this is the point. I agree with you. I don't think we're going to go unbeaten till the end of the season. I don't think Crystal Palace is the team. I do think we will drop more points. I just don't think it's going to be against Crystal Palace. But that brings us to the very end, the very last one. We've got to go soon because I can't believe we've been live for that long. Wills, we can't change it. This was our prediction. I said Wolves to win, but nobody backed me. And now look what happened. iNotes says geniuses are rarely agreed with Lou. iNotes is just on it tonight. Absolutely on it. I'm going to remember this next time I see you in a chat. I'm going to moderate the life out of you. You just wait for it. But Arsenal versus Chelsea. Earlier when I made this prediction, predicted 2-2. However, iNotes has dreadfully wound me up. So I am now going to change my prediction to 2-1 Arsenal. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Smurf. So, Ash, what would you like to say on the matter?
I am going to say 2-2.
Right, lads. Last one. Get your score predictions in. It's 29 minutes past 10 at night. We're all delirious at this point. Nobody can even talk anymore. So get them in because we'll have to go. So Ray says 2-1 Chelsea, Bottle Job FC. And I would just like to remind everyone, Ray is actually an Arsenal fan. Dave Boyce says 3-1 Chelsea, no corners to Arsenal. iNote says 1-1. So
I am confused.
I don't know what's happening.
I think the chat's gone delirious.
I think they have. I think they've all lost the plot. I think we have made them lose the plot. We've driven. They're crazy. We did it. But barring any last minute predictions, that means we're going with a Chelsea win.
That's crazy.
On this one. Oh, Wills is in. Wills is in. He says 3-1 Arsenal. Another whooping. Lossie's killing me. Do you know when something just really tickles your funny bone? They've been drinking too much tea. I can't do it. Oh, good night, Gary. Have a lovely night. And thank you so much for being here and for being such a good sport, because it's not nice when your team is losing. So thank you. I really appreciate that you've been such a good sport about it. And we'll see you on the next one. Luke has come in also with an Arsenal 2-1. So I said Arsenal, you said draw. And then we had Chelsea, draw. And then we had 2 last minute, Arsenal. So that tips it to Arsenal by 1 vote. So I reckon 2-1, because I reckon it'll be close. I reckon Chelsea will score. I reckon it very seriously could be 2-2. It could go completely the other way. I think this one's hard. Dane is well in. 4-1 to the Arsenal. So telling you, between Wills and Ray and Dane, thank God Albo wasn't here tonight as well. Would have been well outnumbered at. But let's hit calculate. So if we are in any way correct, this is what the table will look like at the end of the game week. But obviously that's not going to be right. So
yeah, I feel like, you can change that to 2-0.
2-0, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, so does that do it? Yeah. Yo! Look at us. We're dizzy up there. And where are you? So yous would go up a spot. Yous would go above Everton. And then what would that do down here?
That's interesting though,
because Spurs down.
That would put us 2 points off 7th.
Yeah. Crazy. Crazy. I'm telling you, they're dropping out like a hot snot. It would also do this. I know there's still a game, so even if they won that would be 62. So it would leave it the difference the same. Brentford would still be up and about it. Everton would be a big loser there. They would drop a few spots.
Yeah.
And Spurs would drop to literally right above it. But West Ham would have a bigger gap. So we've obviously put West Ham not to get points. But that is what we would look like, folks. Do check out the comments after the stream or tomorrow. Mama Flossie MF will be popping our score predictions into the comments. Get yours in. Have a good evening. Thank you so incredibly much for being here. It's always such a good laugh, particularly on a Friday evening. I will chat to you all very soon. Tell your friends to subscribe, get the like button hit, and enjoy a fantastic weekend of football coming up, guys. Have a really, really good one. Thank you again.